We welcome you to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. From Boise, Idaho, the goal tonight for the Broncos, defend the blue. Air Force is here on the road in a key Mountain West Conference matchup late in the season. Air Force with a win tonight and a New Mexico loss tomorrow against Colorado State would be the Mountain Division champion. Boise needs a win and a New Mexico loss to claim the title. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti with College Football Hall of Famer Mike Bellotti. Allison Williams is downstairs. She'll join us shortly. Something happened here this past week that doesn't happen very much. 5 losses last 16 years for Boise at home. One of them last week. How do they bounce back?
Well, they've got it, and it's a tough deal because they've got Air Force, which is a very difficult team to prepare for. But Coach Harsin will not let them lose on the blue.
Meantime, this Air Force team offensively is so dangerous with this triple option attack.
Well, they have multiple formations and multiple options, and plus they can run the power I. So the reality is you got to defend a lot of things, but when you stop the option, you have to stop the inside dive. The very first play, they're going to tell you those linebackers, those interior tackles have to do a good job or they're going to run that ball down your throat. Then when you get set inside, you've got to be ready for the quarterback taking the speed sweep outside, the sweep option, and or the trickeration of the reverse. And watch out for Rosnett tonight. He is an amazing athlete. Now, the other thing is the secondary needs to keep their eyes right. Here's a play action fake. If you get caught looking in the backfield, you will get beat deep for big plays.
As you might expect, Air Force is 3rd best in the FBS in rushing. Boise State's rush defense has been fantastic as well, so we'll see what gives tonight. Meantime, for Boise State, down a quarterback in September. Ryan Finley was injured, so Mr. Rippon took over. Brett Rippon, the freshman, a true freshman, has taken the reins for Boise State.
He has great poise. The coaches like him a lot. He played in a passing offense in high school. He is not the most mobile quarterback, but he has a great sense of the pocket. He understands how to read coverages. He's got a favorite receiver in Thomas Spurbeck that he goes to in the clutch, but they like him. His leadership is increasing every day. He came out and spoke for the first time on television last week, and he did a great job. I think he's accepting that leadership role that's been thrust upon him.
Boise State has not lost back-to-back home games since 1997. The crowd is riled up. Air Force needs a win as well. Kickoff around the corner. Back to scenic Idaho. It is senior night in Boise. Some of those seniors, though, will not play for that. Downstairs, Allison Williams. Hello, Allison.
Yeah, Jason, a lot of those seniors in street clothes here for their final game on the blue. One of them, receiver Shane Williams-Rhodes. He's 2nd on the team with 54 receptions, but will not play tonight because of an ankle injury. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, a number of injuries in the secondary. They're already thin. Dylan Sumner-Gardner, their safety, has been out since October. Now they without senior safety Darian Thompson. He suffered a concussion last week, cannot play. And this is a guy that has started every game for them. He's their leader in tackles, their leader on the field, helping with adjustment. So that is a big loss. That does mean more of the responsibility will fall on the shoulders of Dante Dion. He was a game time decision with a knee injury, but the quarterback will be able to play. And that's big because there's a lot of inexperience for a secondary that has to be disciplined against this triple option, guys.
Allison, thank you. You get one ball hawk back in Dion Thompson out. And for Brian Harsin, 19 up and 5 down in his 2nd season. He'd rather that 1 be a 0 in the home record after last week's loss to New Mexico, 31-24, nearly a comeback win. Couldn't do it down the stretch. And so Boise, 4-2 in the league, trying to bounce back.
Well, and they want to run the ball more tonight. Coach Harsin wasn't excited about throwing it 75 times last week.
Terrell Johnson from a couple yards deep, and he's short of the 20-yard line. Told you about the freshman quarterback from Spokane, Brett Rippon, who set a Mountain West freshman record last week with 503 passing yards.
Great feel for the game, great poise in the pocket. He reads well. He'll improve as he gets stronger and fundamentally more secure in his throws. But right now, they have to protect him. He's not a mobile quarterback, so watch for them to run the football and then use the screen game to keep the defense honest.
Very talented sophomore running back with him, Jeremy McNichols, who scored in 9 straight games. And it's McNichols on first down with a burst. Foot race for McNichols. What a start for Boise State.
And that is just what the doctor ordered for Boise State. They needed to run the football. They thought they had the opportunity for big plays. It was what the Air Force defense was afraid of, the speed in space.
Longest run of the career for McNichols. And his 10th straight game with a touchdown. That's a Mountain West record. 10 consecutive games with a score for McNichols.
And this is one of the standard plays in the arsenal. You can see the zone read here. Great block inside by the tight end. And then it's off to the races. And the Air Force defense does not possess the speed to run down McNichols in the open field.
Well, we talked to Brian Harsin during the week, and he said we've got to defend the blue, defend our home turf. Can't have a much better start than this.
No, and this is what they want to do. They do not want to be forced to have to throw the ball. They want to run and impose their will on the opponent.
So Boise State 38 points a game, 19th best in FBS, and McNichols nearing 1,000 yards now.
In fact, we talked about Air Force being so worried about the speed and space issue that if the ball is kicked anywhere in the end zone, they will down it just to get to the 25-yard line. They don't trust their return team.
Gonna have to take it here. Tyler Williams, a hurdle to the 22-yard line. So we'll see the senior quarterback, Carson Roberts, doesn't throw much, but he's the man that steers the offense.
Well, what's amazing is their offense is 9th in the nation in pass efficiency. They don't throw it a lot, but when they do, they get big plays, first downs or touchdowns. He's a very sneaky runner. He's got sneaky speed, makes great decisions. He's what makes that option offense go.
This is the best offense that Troy Calhoun has had in his time at Air Force. 34 points a game in the top 35 of the country. Williams in motion, and the ball's loose. Boise's on it. Tanner Vallejo, the linebacker, knocked it free, and Ben Weaver's on it.
And as the visitor in an opponent's stadium, you do not want to turn the ball over. That's the one thing the option quarterback cannot do is pitch late. You're better to stay on that football, hold it, save the down, save the possession of the football.
It's the first turnover in 4 games for Air Force.
And I'm not sure that that wasn't just a great defensive play. That was not an opportunity or a try at throwing it away. It's just a strip by the would-be tackler coming in. Great job.
Well, with all the turnover issues last year in this game, Air Force beat Boise 28-14. Boise State turns it over 7 times in that game, and an outstanding start for the Broncos tonight.
Typically, when you win the turnover battle, you win the game. Some would say, though, that you have to score off the turnover.
McNichols gets a breather. Ryan Wolpen, the walk-on, is in. And now McNichols came into the backfield and is ushered out by Jesse Washington, the junior defensive back. Second down.
Very nice job by the Air Force defense, forcing that ball to the sideline, to the 12th defender. Every defense will not allow, does not want to allow a running back to go north and south. Let him go east and west. Use the sideline as your 12th defender.
Second down for Rippon. He will run, and third down coming up. That's not usually in his arsenal.
No, and I'll tell you what, they talked about the need, though, in the red zone for some quarterback runs. Most defenses start to load the box at that point, and I thought they might go to the Wildcat But they decided to go ahead and let him run, and that's not his strength.
May see Thomas Spurbeck, the leading receiver, back there at some point this evening as well. Rippon under pressure, incomplete.
This is what Air Force does best, and until last week when they faced a lot of max protections, they were able to make the quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket. They come after you, and they're very willing to play man-to-man and match up in that secondary.
Yeah, talking to Steve Russ, the defensive coordinator, he says, look, we're not going to change what we do. We like to bring pressure. We're going to challenge you. As Rossa comes on after an early miss last week against New Mexico, he knocks this one through. Jeremy McNichols from 83 on the opening play from scrimmage. Boise State off and rolling with great energy tonight. Since the year 2000, Boise State has only lost 5 times on its blue turf. They come out wielding the hammer to show fortitude, and they have so far today with a 10-0 lead and a ringer of a first 2 possessions for Boise State. If you're Air Force, how do you bounce back?
Well, that's an uncharacteristic turnover, as we talk about. They usually do not beat themselves. They just have to make sure they take care of the football. They'll find a different way, maybe trying to attack the middle without getting to the edge. They may not have the speed to attack Boise that way.
As you mentioned, Air Force will allow for touchbacks if given the option. And don't forget, we have another big college football Saturday ahead of us this weekend. It's time for Watch ESPN. Every game live, tablet, smartphone, wherever. Download the app or go to watchespn.com. I'll tell you what, noon Eastern tomorrow, it's a great time to have multiple screens going, right?
Absolutely. Memphis versus Temple, offense versus defense. North Carolina, one of the hottest teams in the nation, against Frank Beamer's last ride out. And then Iowa, undefeated at this point. Oh my gosh, any of those games, they're so great.
What's it going to be like at Virginia Tech for that last home game?
I don't know, but I wish I could be there. I'll tell you what, he deserves a great fanfare and hopefully a win on the way out.
From the 25, Carson Roberts off play action, and that was a flare. Looking for Garrett Brown, second down.
And that was, he decided before he even looked at the ball where he wanted to throw it, and the Boise defense knew what was coming. They were there before the receiver, so got to be careful about forcing the ball down the field.
Well, Brett Rippon, the freshman quarterback's getting a look-see over on the sideline, and Allison told you earlier about the injury troubles for Boise State. Can't afford to lose that guy.
I think that's just cosmetic, though. I think he might have got a little shot in the chin.
Looked like Brown may have flinched in the backfield. Play clock down to 2. Go with the pitch this time, and the best play from scrimmage so far for Air Force. Gets across the 40-yard line on a first down for Brian Driscoll, at a huge rush game a couple weeks ago against Fresno State.
And that's the chess match of the quarterback trying to get in the best play, the defense trying to match the formation, and both trying to outguess and change it at the end of the thing. Boise last week played 90% of the time great against New Mexico. 10% they gave up big plays. That's the option. It can expose you very quickly.
Third best rush team in the country, Air Force. Roberts checking again. One more time the pitch, and Garrett Brown gets absolutely stuck.
And that's a great job on defense. We watched practice the other day and watched them doing drills, just showing the receivers against the DBs and making sure that the receivers understand, the DBs, do your job. Understand if you've got pitch, dive, or keep, do your job, make sure and trust that the others will do the same thing.
What do you like about what Tyler Gray did there?
Well, he kept leverage. He did a great job of tackling, and he kept his eyes right.
Loss of 3. Down to 2 on the play clock again. Just barely got it off, and nothing doing. Air Force going backwards with Jacoby Owens, third and forever.
That was the kind of push that you need on the defensive front to change the line of scrimmage, to not allow Air Force to get any penetration. Stop the dive. First, foremost, number one for the entire game. Stop the dive.
Putting Air Force behind the chains. They'll go shotgun. And too much from Roberts. Jonathan Moxey on the coverage of Jalen Robinette, the big play man. Boise State forces another punt.
Great job by the Boise defense, and that is not the strength of Carson Roberts. He's not meant to be a drop back passer in this offense. Although if you're going to throw it anywhere, throw it in the direction of Robinette, because he can go up and make a play.
Say another punt, because last week, even in a loss against New Mexico, the Lobos had 7 3-and-out. So the Boise defense played a strong game. Turnovers by the offense hurt.
Yeah, they just have to eliminate the big play, the explosive play.
Dante Dion back in with the injury. Fair catch on a 42-yard punt, no return.
ESPN College Football is presented by Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Sandwiches, and in part by Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Available now, rated M for mature.
Senior night in Boise, Idaho, and time for some selfies. Here at Albertson Stadium, this Boise State team has been so tough at home. They lead 10-0 tonight. And for a team to come in here and beat them for a second week in a row, that hasn't happened since 1993. Back-to-back home losses in 2 straight weeks.
Divisional title on the line, and they lost here last week. They do not want to let that happen again.
97 the last 2-game losing streak, and Brian Harsin put it very easily to us the other day. He said, look, if we don't have guys that are going to do it, we'll put somebody else in. As Rippon nearly has it picked off by Weston Steelhammer, who intercepted 3 Boise passes last year.
Steelhammer has a great knack for breaking on the ball, being in the vicinity of the receiver, and then just making the play. He's almost like running the route for the receiver. Great job.
Junior out of Shreveport, Louisiana, leads the team in tackles. Second down for Rippon. Steelhammer showing blitz. Rippon goes the other way to his favorite target, Thomas Spurbeck, with his 70th grab of the year, 3rd down. Let's check in downstairs for Allison.
Well, you guys were talking about defending the blue. Nobody knows that better than Brian Harsin. He played here, was an assistant coach here, and now a head coach. When we talked to him about the loss last week, he brought up the fact that it just doesn't happen. In fact, the last time he lost at home during a regular season game, 2001, he was a GA here for Boise. So it's very important to him, and he said, I don't think you could talk about it any more than we do.
He got reminded that they lost a bowl game as well, as Rippon gets hit and the ball loose. Ryan Watson got in there, and it is 4th down. Boise's back on top of it.
I was going to say that was a coverage sack. He had time to look. He steps up in the pocket and then doesn't quite finish covering the football, but great job of getting it back. And you can see right here, they're just playing zone, sort of their combination coverage where they have, and Boise's trying to cross, anticipating blitz. They don't blitz, and so the rush eventually gets there.
Sean Wales, first punt of the night. Garrett Brown, the fair catch inside the 30, 47-yard punt, and no return. And Rippon gets a phone call from upstairs.
Yeah, the eye in the sky is letting him know what to do and where to go with the ball when there's no pressure.
Talking to Eli Drinkwitz, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, he said, look, during that game last week we lost. I was glad I was upstairs at points because I might have gotten too fired up. It gives you a little distance, right?
There's no question. There's a certain sterile environment upstairs where you can sort of rant, rave. You got all your charts and everything put, but you need to talk to the quarterback and give him the positive words of advice.
After a punt last time for Air Force, they'll run it straight up the middle with that dive. Jacoby Owens inside the 15-yard line. Dante Dion tracked him down.
Jacoby Owens, the guy we talked about, that they have moved to the fullback position. He's a more explosive guy. He's got the speed to finish it. He was a tailback, halfback in this offense initially, and that's the first thing you have to stop. We talk about that dive every time. It's coming out. You've got to stop the A and B gaps. Linebackers have to stay alive. Secondary's got to keep the eyes right.
Longest run of the year for Owens. First down from the 12. After a 59-yarder, he's got 8 more inside the 5. Chancellor James spiked him down, and Owens is hurt.
Yeah, that would be a big blow because they really don't have as much depth there as they would like, and he's the most explosive back. He just bounced that one gap outside. It's a similar type play. He's just reading the first down lineman outside the center.
He's waving the training staff off and will stay in. 2nd and 1, call it. Roberts the keeper, and they drive the pile to the 1-yard line. Ball came loose, they blow it dead. Play's been blown dead. Kamale Correa ran away with the football. Let's take a listen for the whistle.
That ball looked like it was sitting there.
And so it was before the whistle. If you have continuous action leading to a recovery,
this will be reviewed, I believe, because that ball looked like it was out and still in play at that time.
Right now, 1st and goal from the 1.
Maybe not. I would think that it would be, but yeah, there we go. Possession of the ball, forward progress, and/or anything near a first down or goal line.
Boise State takes its first time out of the half. 30 seconds in duration.
There, it's impossible to tell if his knee is down, and that is a long time in the pile. So that may be something that even if they look at it, they won't get a chance to review it. The hard part is knowing where it was and how it came out.
Our referee, Mike DeFee, over there explaining it to Brian Harsin. Even if he got the recovery, you couldn't hand the touchdown to Correa because it's got to be the continuous action leading to the eventual result.
Yeah, Coach Harsin will not be very happy, though. I'll just tell you what, when he sees the films, he'll be probably even more upset. And somebody upstairs said, hey, Coach, that ball was out.
They're going to say not reviewable because the runner was blown dead, although you could hear the whistle come after the recovery by Correa. 1st and goal from the 1. Owens could not find a gap, and the ball came loose again. Ben Weaver made the hit, and Air Force loses more yards, back to the 4.
See it at this level, they're trying to run a pulley, guard or tackle. He's kicking out. I think that, well, that ball might be out again. It's hard to tell. You can see, I didn't see where his knee was in terms of the ball.
Looked like that one was out, and Troy Calhoun, whose team hadn't turned the ball over.
Well, that ball is out for sure, I believe. Whoa.
It's been 3 games since a turnover. They had one on their opening play tonight. Totally disorganized.
I cannot believe.
Air Force takes its first time out of the half. Media.
That should have been reviewed, in my opinion.
2nd and goal coming up. A couple of former quarterbacks at their alma maters, Troy Calhoun, Brian Harsin. Early on, the Broncos of Boise State have a 10-0 lead, but Air Force is rapping on the door after a near fumble 2 plays ago that was blown dead by the officials because of forward progress being stopped. first play tonight for Boise went 83 yards and a touchdown. Air Force trying to stand up inside Boise's red zone. Carson Roberts is knocked down at the 2. Ben Weaver once again, the linebacker, shot the gap.
Boise defense doing a great job of bowing their back right here. That's usually a play. Carson Roberts has been very effective scoring touchdowns down at that area. One of the leading scorers in the nation in that regard, and the Boise defense just stepped up and said no.
Third and goal. Outside of the pitch. And just short of the goal line, Tyler Williams. Tanner Vallejo got in there.
So now the question is, do you take some points for the field goal? I believe Air Force will probably go for this. They've been known to, but I could be wrong.
What would you do?
Well, when you're the opponent and the visitors, I think you're going to have to score points. I'd go for the touchdown. I trust the option down there, although Boise's defense has made 3 spectacular plays to stop them.
Luke Strable from 18. And Air Force is on the board. Air Force sets it up with a long run from Jacoby Owens and got inside the 5, but couldn't pound it in. Boise State holds the line. Brian Harsin frustrated with the officials tonight. Thought he could have had a couple of fumbles, including on a 3rd down run from Brian Driscoll of Air Force. Looked like the ball came loose.
Well, he has good reason. If we see it from this angle, watch the ball here. It is out right there before any part of the running back touches down. So I'm not sure what's going on. That should have been, that's a fumble right there. That's a live ball.
Couple close plays on that last drive. And Air Force, the beneficiary, keeping the ball with a field goal to crack the score column. Terrell Johnson from inside the 5 got caught up in the wash across the 20, and that's where Boise State will start. 4-2 in the conference, need a win and a New Mexico loss either tomorrow or to Air Force next week to clinch the Mountain Division title and get back to the Mountain West Championship game.
Yeah, everything is possible at this point. One of the things that Boise has to take heart in, they gave up the big play, but they stopped them from scoring a touchdown, forced a field goal, which is a win for the defense in that regard.
Freshman quarterback Brett Rippon, the nephew of Mark, the former Washington Redskin, and he hands it off to McNichols on 1st down, hit by Trey Alexander. 2nd down coming up, give him 6.
Talking about probably wanting to see a steady diet of running north and south because the Boise offensive line outweighs that defensive line for Air Force.
Air Force defense much improved in the last couple of years. Gave up 40 points a game 2 years ago, down to about 20 this season. Counter play again. They'll run with McNichols. And he stood up by Jesse Washington, the junior corner, setting up 3rd down.
Boise was lucky right there because they could have stripped that ball at some point from the running back. Good thing for the officials' whistle right there.
Forward progress stopped, and 3rd down and 3 coming. That's Spurbeck, the leading receiver, in motion. Play clock inside 5 and Rippon to throw. Found a crease to run with, and Rippon does have the 1st down in the arms of Connor Healy, the senior linebacker.
And that's huge. If he is able to elude pressure, and they're doing the coverage, this is only a 3-man rush. He does a nice job, recognizes it and says, I can get this. He splits defenders and gets down, doesn't take a hit. And that's the way the quarterback can protect the ball, by protecting his body.
You said he's not much of a running quarterback, but when he was younger, he played baseball, he played hockey. He's a multi-sport athlete, so he is used to being athletic.
Exactly, and he needs to know when to run and when to throw it away.
Run it again. McNichols squeezes through the hole and hits Healy one more time. Second down on the way. Well, Jeremy McNichols coming in with 19 total touchdowns. He's got 20 this season. He was going to redshirt until October of last year. They put him into the lineup, had a solid finish to the season, and he's become the starting running back ahead of the Stanford transfer Kelsey Young this year. Conservative play calling for Boise State without one of its top receivers, Shane Williams-Rhodes, and third down.
We talked about this may be a very short football game because both teams are tending to run the football. And Coach Harsin said coming in, Boise needs to run the football, reestablish the ground game, reestablish our dominance at the line of scrimmage. And obviously we know that that's Air Force's forte also.
They're down 224 career catches in a winter hat on the sideline. Shane Williams-Rhodes, third down and 3 for Boise State. Rippon on the move. Wide open man is tight end Jake Rowe, who they thought could be an X factor today. The sophomore has a first down for the Broncos.
That was a combination of sort of a rub route and just a defensive missed assignment. Those guys have to be willing to pass those guys off, but the defender has to come under. But that time the rub route, not a pick route, worked very well for the offense.
Rippon going for it all down the sideline. Too much for Spurbeck. Boy, he had 3 steps on Steelhammer.
And that play developed very much as the quarterback would want. He had time to throw. He waited. He just wanted to show his arm strength, I guess. But we talked about the fact that Spurbeck is not the fastest guy. He has game speed. He has ability to make people miss, but he's not a blazer.
You talked about it early. The one-on-one speed advantage, though, tonight does go to Boise State.
No question. That's what scares Air Force.
Quick set for Rippon, and Spurbeck had it batted away. Roland Latipo, who drew the ire of Boise State fans during the week, saying that he smelled some blood here in Bronco land, made the deflection, third down.
I like Latipo. I think he's a courageous corner. If he continues to play the underneath routes that well, they will run a double move route to try to take advantage of his aggressiveness.
2 out of 4 tonight on third down for Boise. This is 3rd and 10. It's a bullet from Rippon, and he's got a first down. Chaz Anderson, who had trouble with drops last week, has enough to move the sticks.
We talked to the coaching staff, and they said if there's one guy that needs to step up tonight, it's Chaz Anderson. He had some opportunities last week, wasn't able to take advantage of, but he's the kind of athlete that in space can make a lot of plays, and he needs to fight for the contested balls more.
3 for 3, third down on this drive for Boise State. Kelsey Young, the Stanford transfer, and Santo Coppola, the sophomore from Santa Fe, was there. Talking about Anderson, how as a player in college football do you bounce back, and how do you try and convince a player to bounce back like Anderson?
Well, he has the physical skills. It's all about just the mental toughness. If you drop a ball, you know, short memory, quick feet. It's all you want. You don't want to worry about it. Go to the next play. That last play can only hurt you.
Loss of 3 as McNichols comes into the backfield. And Ryan Wolpen, the walk-on, who Brian Harsin said, we're giving him some action because he hits the hole. That time the mesh wasn't there for him. Third down.
Yeah, a couple times, if you notice, both of the running backs on the last couple read plays, Rippon has held the ball just a little long, and it's actually changed the trajectory for the back on his path. That's him trying to read the defense just a little bit longer.
you want him to get rid of it quicker.
Yes, make a decision a little bit quicker.
Got to have the 19. Pressure coming. Rip and hit as he throws. Spurbeck couldn't break the tackle. Latipo in open space forces the field goal try.
They got what they wanted. They were running a crossing route against man-to-man, and typically that works, but great job of tracking down the receiver, stopping him from getting the first down. See right there, the little mesh route underneath across the middle. And he knew it. He feels this pressure. He sort of holds the ball and then sees it right there, and he's throwing to the guy he likes that should come open.
45-yarder for the redshirt junior, the first-year starter, Tyler Rossa. And that is through. 2 for 2 tonight for Rossa. And Boise State expands the lead back to 10. Boise defending the home turf tonight, leading by 10. This week, the College Game Day crew is back in Columbus as Boise State leads 13-3 over Air Force, under a minute to go here in the first quarter. Boise isn't exactly downtown Columbus, but they have the same type of fervor for college football in this town, don't they?
This is a great college football town, a great college town, period. I think kids enjoy living here. Boise has done a great job over the years of competing in athletics and doing a great job specifically in football.
Thomas Spurbeck injured on that last drive, the leading receiver for Boise State. And now on the training table as Tyler Williams on the return for Air Force gets to the 25-yard line. Mentioned Game Day back in Columbus, 9 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. First time in 5 years back in Columbus. Michigan State and Ohio State. They'll get you set for that with everything going on in college football as well. Reese, Herbie, and the boys starting at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Streaming live also on Watch ESPN. So Air Force with that triple option attack has been behind the chains at points tonight, leading to only 3 points for the senior quarterback Carson Roberts.
Yeah, I'm sure they're frustrated they couldn't capitalize on the big explosion play earlier. They have to have those, but you got to cash it in the red zone.
It's a 59-yard run for this man, Jacoby Owens, who has a couple as Tyler Gray wrapped him up. Second down. How much stress does it put on a defense to face this triple option?
Well, it's hard. The good thing for Boise is that they played an option team last week.
Injured players, Brian Driscoll for Air Force. Yeah, Bob Davies' New Mexico team also plays this triple option now.
Right, and so, you know, if you play a triple option team early and then 8 weeks later you've lost some of the neuromuscular patterning that you can help your defense, but you play them 1 week and the next week, you're going to learn from that. You can watch film. There's some carryover from what you did in the defensive schemes you used the week before.
Neuromuscular patterning. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's how you see it and how you react to it, and you repeatedly process the muscles to have a certain pattern of activity to respond. So when you see a down block, you step in, you drop your shoulder. You know, you see a route running, you're going to burst on the route. So it's how you train your eyes to lead your body in the direction you want it to go.
Driscoll walks off, the junior wide receiver.
Yeah, and that's not good because Driscoll is at that position where they've already lost Washington. Jacoby Owens is playing both fullback and halfback or tailback at times. So Air Force a little bit thin there.
Fullback DJ Johnson also injured. He had a big early touchdown last week in the win against Utah State. Second down for Roberts. Low ball and nicely dug out by Garrett Brown, the senior, for a first down. Air Force.
Garrett Brown, the leading receiver on the team, and that wasn't a great throw. A great throw would have allowed him to make more rack or run after catch. Great catch, so they'll go down and get it.
First completion tonight for Air Force comes more than 14 minutes in. One more play before the end of the quarter, and it's Carson Roberts slicing through to the 50 forcing another tackle from Tyler Gray. Gain of 13 for Air Force. Ends the first quarter in Boise, Idaho. Key matchup in the Mountain Division has the Broncos in the lead with a 10-point hammer early on. One quarter deep from Boise, Idaho, where the Broncos have only lost 5 times in the last 16 years. Won them last week. And holding firm so far, 15 minutes deep in a 13-3 lead. The senior Carson Roberts back under center for Air Force after a 107-yard first quarter. Roberts keeps it himself and has a lane across the 40, out of bounds, first down on a gain of 12 for Roberts, who's made some good decisions recently in the triple option.
True, 2 straight big gains, first down, gaining yardage here. This is patience by him, reading it, knows where to go with the ball, then gets out of bounds to protect his body. He doesn't want to take unnecessary hits.
Off play action. Roberts long ball down the seam, and he's got it. Down to the 1, Garrett Griffin. Gain of 38.
Garrett Griffin.
The coaches talked about Garrett Griffin would be a secret weapon tonight. He was not healthy early in the season, but he has come back now, and he's the guy they thought could end up putting some problems in the secondary for Boise.
From the 1, Roberts puts his shoulder in. No signal yet. Touchdown.
Air Force does as good a job at the quarterback sneak. I don't know if you call it a sneak there, because there's nothing sneaky about it. It's just wedging and driving into the end zone. But that previous play, and we're going to see it later on replay, will show you what can happen to the secondary if they do not keep their eyes right. That was all set up by confusing the secondary about whether it was a run or a pass.
Well, this Air Force passing game preys on play action and preys on the secondary sneaking up. Usually they do hit for big plays when they hit.
And especially some of the inside receivers who are right in the quarterback vision. They don't have to wait to clear on the outside. They're right as he comes off the play fake. He can see those guys if they're open.
It's a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
This will be under review. Take a look.
If we can see anything there, it looks as if from this angle that he is alive and is across the goal line. The whole push there is always interesting to see. It starts down low. If you can get under the defense, you can stop them from getting penetration. A little bit better angle here, and I'm not sure we ever see the ball, and there's nothing that can say that this is not going to be a touchdown.
It would have to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the touchdown call on the field.
Thank you for those words, because I love that. Indisputable. There's no dispute.
Can't be maybe, has to be indisputable.
And every view that we've seen, I can't see the football, I can't see his body. I believe that it is a touchdown because it was ruled as such on the field.
Well, for Carson Roberts, it would be his 9th rushing touchdown.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Yes, stands not confirmed, and so not indisputable video evidence to overturn.
Where were they earlier in the game when I don't want to say anything against the officials, because they do a great job for the most part, but I thought there was something that should have been reviewed earlier and obviously would have been overturned on the field.
It's 35 degrees here. It takes a while to warm up.
Cyberspace.
Strable the extra point. Garrett Griffin had some bad luck earlier this year. He got injured in pregame warmups, but he's back now. He sets up Air Force inside the 5, and Carson Roberts thunders in for a touchdown. Back to scenic Boise, where the Broncos have the lead 13-10 over Air Force. That's downtown Boise, not far from Albertson Stadium, the home of the Boise State Broncos, who will see the ball again after an Air Force touchdown of 1 yard. Returnable kick from inside the 10 for Terrell Johnson. Johnson has a seam and down to the 35-yard line. Also, a flag has come in. Here's the long pass to set up the touchdown.
Well, take a look. Play action away. Look what it does to the defense. They're going to run the quarterback. The quarterback's going to turn his back. They're showing action down to the left, and the defensive backs lose the tight end right down the seam. Great fingertip catch by Garrett Griffin. He was the guy the coaches talked about was going to be a secret weapon. There's the DB that probably should cover him. He was running in to try to stop the run, maybe chase it down from the backside, but my guy is down the field.
Check on our first penalty of the game. Our referee, Mike DeFee.
During the return, it'll go block in the back. Return team number 16. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Boise retains the ball. 1st and 10.
Back to that long pass play. How do you stay home if you're the Boise State defense?
Well, if you're in man-to-man, you've got to see your man and see his release. If you're in zone, you've got to still key release of receivers, hi-hat, and where the ball goes. But you got to keep one eye on the receiver and one eye on the backfield. It's not very easy. That's why the option can be very effective.
So Boise State sets up from the 25. Brett Rippon, 4 of 8, the true freshman quarterback. McNichols couldn't break the tackle of Jacob Onichi, and it's 2nd down coming up. There's a breakaway speed, though, from McNichols flashing.
Yeah, Boise needs a response now. They need a statement. It's a great way to start by putting the ball in McNichols' hands and let him showcase that speed.
Over 100 yards now after an opening 83-yard touchdown run on the first play tonight. Rippon dropped. Backup tight end Holden Huff. 3rd down.
And Holden Huff is the guy that sets the edge for Boise in the running game. They love him at tight end. He's not the receiver guy they probably want to throw the ball to, but that ball was very catchable. Rippon doing a nice job of putting it on the receiver's side away from the defense.
Rippon 503 yards last week in the loss against New Mexico. A quieter start tonight. Faces a 3rd and 3. Yep.
Trying to make sure his protection is going to hold up.
Rippon keeps it and slides for the 1st down. Steelhammer draws a flag.
This could be potentially devastating if it's a targeting foul. Smart heads-up play by Rippon. Saw the defense, went to the zone read, read it perfectly, got the 1st down, and then got down and may get more yards tacked on the end.
Steelhammer pleading his case.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 8, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Takes a look again.
Yeah, and let's take a look because here it comes. Great job by Rippon right there. He goes down, and I'm not sure. That's a hard thing for a defensive guy. He doesn't go down right there. I don't know what I would have called that in all honesty. Anything, not unnecessary roughness. That's just a guy taken through. If he'd stayed up, he would have made the tackle. He went down.
Even though he gave himself up on the slide.
Yeah, but he did it just before. And as I said, as a defense, you're starting to tackle way before that. You're breaking down and trying to drive through the man.
Penalties aplenty after a penalty-free 1st quarter.
False start. Offense, number 6. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's on the receiver, Chaz Anderson.
And most coaches would get very frustrated by a receiver. Just tell them to watch the football. When in doubt, don't anticipate the snap count. Just watch the ball.
Here's Spurbeck, first catch in a while. And for more on the junior, here's Allison.
Yeah, guys, back out on the field for Boise State. The athletic trainers did spend quite a bit of time looking at that left ankle. And Shane Williams-Rhodes, their other receiver, who is out with a ankle injury, was by his side the whole time. Several coaches came over to check on Thomas, and he nodded that he was doing good. And as you can see, able to get back out there for the Broncos.
Huge key now to get back at least half of this yardage to get to a manageable third down. So look for a quick pass, a slant, a screen, something to get back some yardage.
Here comes Steelhammer on the blitz. Long ball incomplete. That was McNichols out of the backfield. Third down coming up.
Air Force has been very good this year at bringing pressure. They love to bring two off an edge, play man-to-man defense. Here they bring five. You see the end guys peel off, though, but it creates confusion for the offensive line in terms of who they need to block.
Here's Connor Healy, the linebacker, bearing down on Rippon. So third down on the way. Screen this way. Open lane, Kelsey Young inside Air Force territory. He's about 2.5 yards shy of the first down marker. Latipo the tackle. It's fourth down and short after the gain of 14. There's a flag down against Air Force as well.
End of the run, automatic first down.
That's a big break, although I believe Boise might have gone for it there. They weren't sending anybody on the field. They were in the opposing territory. And I think at home, if you lost last week, you better take advantage of any field position you get on the blue.
Inside the 25 off the penalty. Seventh play of the drive for Rippon. Another screen tipped, nearly intercepted. DJ Dunn, the linebacker, flashed in there.
Big risk, huge reward. If you run your quarterback to the left and are trying to run a throwback screen to the right, they had some protection issues inside that showed tremendous pressure in his face. That ball could have been picked and gone the other way. Really difficult play to do, to execute. High risk, as I said.
Told you Boise had 7 turnovers in the game against Air Force last year, the 14-point loss. Rippon out of the break to Chaz Anderson. Beautiful timing that time against Latipo, and it's third down.
Also recognizing the blitz, pressure coming, running to the shortened down route or the quickest escape that he could, get rid of the football, set up a very manageable third, about 4 or 5. And you're in the red zone. You got a lot of stuff here. It looks like man-to-man initially in the lineup.
Spurbeck down at the bottom of your screen. Leading wide receiver for Boise. Rippon the pump fake. And down he goes. Connor Healy bursts through.
Great job in coverage by Air Force. A blitz of a sense, and they got there. You can see them coming there, the crossing, the inside linebacker and nose guard. And great job of getting to the quarterback because he had nowhere to go, because as you watch this, they're passing guys off, playing man-to-man, and some they go to free safety deep. Really nice job. I love the aggressiveness of the Air Force defense.
Came in with 30 sacks on the year, tied for 11th in the country. Forces a 44-yard drive for Rossa, who's 2 for 2 already tonight. And they blocked it. DJ Dunn with the leap, and Air Force has its 12th block kick in the last 3 years. Boise State on the drive. A sack leads to a field goal, and Dunn goes high for the Falcons in a 3-point game. Playmaking linebacker DJ Dunn keeps the score 13-10. Boise on a blocked field goal, Coach.
Well, watch him here. He's going to be right on the left side, right here. And as you watch him, he's going to step down inside, jump over, and then elevate again. Perfect timing, great job. And that's what you want. He's a big play guy for them. And there's no bigger play. That's a momentum shift, a huge momentum shift. They're going to get the ball in good field position.
Told you Air Force has 12 blocked kicks in the last 3 years now. Why does a team have the ability to do that? What are you teaching a group like that?
Well, they're a smaller team that uses quickness to their advantage, and I think that's where they say we can block some kicks, we can scheme some guys, and we just have guys that give great effort.
Air Force takes over. Good field position. Run it with Owens, just a couple of yards. We'll check in the studio and Adnan.
All right, thank you very much, fellas. Just want to let you know what's happening right now with Cincinnati and South Florida. This will be Quentin Flowers to Sean Price, 46 yards all the way to the house. It is all South Florida, 51-6. Jason, Mike, back to you guys.
Plays all over it tonight. Adnan had an 83-yard touchdown run on our opening play for a Boise lead. As Air Force looks for its first lead, and the pitch dropped by Tyler Williams for a loss all the way back to the 40.
The disruption of timing can be huge in the option game. You just assume that they're going to make that catch on the pitch, and when the ball's on the ground, you better get it, cover it up, but now they're set way back behind the chains with a loss on first down.
Air Force looks a little bit out of sync at points tonight. What do you think that is?
I don't know, but I don't know if it's the excitement of this game. I don't know if it's the temperature, coldness on the field. I don't know, but they need to obviously keep a hold of that football.
3rd and 12. Pocket holds up. Roberts goes the short way. Jalen Robinette extending toward the marker, and they put him down a yard short.
I don't think that was a very good spot, in all honesty. I thought it was a little bit closer. They're across the 50, though, and that typically for Air Force is go territory. Take a little look here. Nice job. Good protection. Actually a decent pass. He's a big, strong guy, and he put his head down there.
They're going to blow this dead before Air Force can snap it.
The previous play is under further review.
Yeah, Robinette says first down, and at first glance, it looked like he was right at the marker.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Yeah, well, actually, right there, it looks as if he's beyond the marker with the ball, and I don't see any part of his body touching. He's diving there, and yeah, I would say that's going to be a first down.
You're looking for above the ankle and above the wrist, anything down at those parts of the body.
Yeah, he's a heat-seeking missile right there, and the ball is the first thing that touches or his shoulder, and I think they're both beyond the first down marker. Of course, I've been known to be wrong before.
Doesn't look like this time, though, no. Coach Bellotti. Robinette had a huge week last week, 210 yards in the air, the 3rd most in school history. And that's a big first catch for Jalen Robinette tonight.
Well, 4th and 1 is a lot different than 1st and 10, no matter where you are on the field. I think Troy Calhoun I think he feels pretty comfortable based on probably somebody upstairs is telling him the same thing. Coach, that's a first down. We're going to get your first down group ready.
Again, it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. The call on the field was that Robinette was a yard short of the first down.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands 4th down.
How about that?
They must have a different viewpoint than we do. And again, that's why we say that, it's the official, the replay official has that discretion.
Again, that's why it's so key what's called on the field, though. The indisputable video evidence threshold. Steve Boise is in to punt ostensibly for Air Force.
This is also fake territory. It'd help if they had 11 men on the field, though.
Dion back to receive. Boise will boot it. So Air Force plays the field position game And Dion inside the 20 after a punt of 31. Boise State takes over after this, up 3.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former military members and their families. And Buick, proud partner of the NCAA.
That's the Human Performance Laboratory at Boise State, where faculty and students do research in energy expenditure, environmental stress, things like that. A growing field in college football.
Absolutely. A lot of colleges use it to test nutrition, hydration, energy expenditure during practices and games, fall camp, etc.
Boise State takes over after Air Force had a replay not go its way on a 4th down and 1 setup. In a 3 that time for McNichols. And 2nd down forthcoming. Air Force very easily could still be driving.
No
Instead,
question.
Boise takes over.
And I think this is a point in the game where Boise wants to make sure they put a drive together, regain some momentum in this game. They let Air Force creep back into it.
Rippon scanning as McNichols out of the backfield. Downstairs for Allison of the Air Force defense.
Yeah, coach is very pleased with how they're playing on defense right now. One thing they did remind them to do is talk and communicate, especially Weston Steelhammer. He's kind of the quarterback of this defense. So coaches told him, you know the call, make sure the guys around you do as well. And then they told him to just keep grinding it out, keep counterpunching. This is what we signed up for.
It's a defense that allowed 83 yards on the first play, just 85 since then. And here comes the pressure from Air Force. Rippon off his back foot, and Latipo tangled up with Anderson. The crowd wanted a flag.
Yeah, and I don't know if he could go through the break. You know, the pass has to be catchable in order for pass interference to be called. There's a contact right there. I didn't see it there. The ball didn't come through. You need to keep your balance, be more physical. And right now, Latipo is one of the more physical players on the field in terms of coverage.
He's made a couple nice plays in the secondary tonight.
Brown is a deep man for the Falcons.
Sean Whale on. The junior punter from California. And Garrett Brown lets it roll. A positive Boise bounce inside the 30. 48-yard punt, no return. Tomorrow, college football presented by Kay Jewelers. Big Ten doubleheader, noon Eastern. Jim Harbaugh, the Wolverines, number 12 in the country against Penn State. Then at 3:30, number 9, Michigan State taking on the number 3 rated Ohio State Buckeyes at the Horseshoe. Both games also streaming live on Watch ESPN. One of those shakedown Saturdays in the Big Ten. Downstairs in Allison.
Well, guys, a big question for Michigan State going into this game against Ohio State is the health of quarterback Connor Cook, who injured that right throwing shoulder. He said at the beginning of the week, the shoulder's great, it feels good. Heather Cox telling me that Mark D'Antonio is still not confirming if Cook will start, but the census seems to be that he will.
There would be huge news for Michigan State in that game against Ohio State. The Buckeyes and Ezekiel Elliott. You'll hear more about him coming up on College Game Day as well tomorrow. Who do you like in that game?
I like Ohio State by a bunch. I think Ohio State is probably underachieved in most people's opinion, whereas Michigan State has overachieved. They're not a great football team, but they found ways to win. They found a way to win a game and lose a game, both that were probably questionable. But I just think Ohio State's a better physical team.
Roberts over the top again, and he drops it in beautifully. Jalen Robinette. Touchdown Air Force. 67 yards.
And that's not a good matchup for Boise, obviously. Jalen Robinette against Tanner Vallejo, and that's a hard thing in the open field. It's a foot speed race. As we can see right here, just take a look. Oh, there he comes inside, and Vallejo's got to try to pick him up, although he's involved in trying to do run support too if it's the quarterback sweep option. Very difficult, and that's where that conflict of assignment, that's keeping your eyes right.
First lead tonight for Air Force. Jalen Robinette had the most Air Force receiving yards in 10 years last season. This time he hits for 67, and the first advantage for the Falcons tonight. Air Force's Jalen Robinette, 67-yard touchdown to give Air Force the lead. Tanner Vallejo, the linebacker, forced to try to cover him. And the Falcons hit for another big play through the air. They've thrown for 126 now tonight and lead Boise State. 2 wins for Air Force and a trip to the Mountain West Championship game coming up. Johnson inside the 5. Terrell Johnson breaks a tackle and gets all the way down to the 40. Another look at the touchdown, Coach.
Jalen Robinette is into the short side of the field. You see him right there. He's going to come inside like he's cracking down. Watch the run fake, and then it ends up having to be Tanner Vallejo's guy there. Excuse me. He's trying to catch up, and it's no match in the open field. See him come down, and they pass him off. The problem is Vallejo's looking into the backfield. He's not seeing that guy, and that's a bad matchup in terms of defense versus offense. Look at it right here. So he gets pressed a little bit. He's passing him off. The corner's thinking, I got to support the run right there, and now somebody's going to pick him up inside. Vallejo, as we talked about, is looking in the backfield, looking at the quarterback action, look at the potential sweep. He's not ready to cover that guy down the field.
Injured player down for Air Force. So 6 and change left here in the second quarter and a 17-13 lead for the Air Force Falcons. Boy, you're going back to that play. It's a tough sell for a linebacker to catch up with a receiver like that and have the feet square.
There's no question. And certainly they may be missing Darian Thompson, one of their best players on defense, who's not playing. He's a safety and typically is one of the guys with the best eyes and the best reactions in that backfield. But that's what I talked about earlier about playing an option style offense and a run oriented, heavy run orientation. You can do 20 plays, and then the reality is do it right, stop them, but one play and it's gone.
Injured player is Gavin McHenry, the junior defensive back for Air Force. Take a look on the left side of your screen, number 20 coming in.
Ooh, that's a pop. He was looking again and didn't quite expect that strong a hit. That was a great block, but that's a difficult one.
Air Force training staff on the field tending to McHenry, a junior out of Parker, Colorado, as Air Force has taken a 17-13 lead here in Boise, a game that the Broncos had the lead on the first play from scrimmage. We'll step aside. 17-13 Air Force. Well, that is great news for Air Force and Gavin McHenry, who sat up and has gotten up. He's being taken off the field after an injury on special teams on the kickoff. And right now Air Force with a 17-13 lead here in Boise, Idaho. Jason Benetti along with the Hall of Famer Mike Bellotti. Allison Williams is downstairs as well. And look, Boise State came out of the chute very hot. 83-yard touchdown for Jeremy McNichols on the first play from scrimmage. Since then, Air Force pretty much owned the game.
Well, other than some sloppy fumbles, Air Force has had more momentum, and they've done some things. They blocked a field goal. They got some big plays. Both teams have traded big plays. The reality is Air Force failed to score on one of them because Boise defense bowed its back a little bit, but Boise needs to respond on offense right now.
Behind the freshman quarterback, Brett Rippon out of Spokane. And they will run it. McNichols, some breakaway speed again inside the 40. Latipo tracked him down along with Washington. The two corners gain a 22 and a first down.
Nice vision and patience by McNichols. He runs a form of the dive, but he also cuts it back and winds it back to the biggest hole out there.
20 touchdowns this year for the sophomore. Rippon, pressure coming, lets it fly and incomplete. Latipo, the one that had the hit on Rippon, who was under duress, second down.
Corner blitz. Air Force just showing that they're willing to rush anybody, bring him off the edge. He's got a free shot, and I'll tell you what, he could have done a lot of damage. Rippon just got rid of that ball, but great coverage down the field forced him to hold the football.
Roland Latipo wants to go into pilot training after graduation, and you see Air Force does tend to bring the heat. Top 11 in the country in sacks. Freshman Rippon just 8 for 17. They will run it again with McNichols and Connor Healy, Brody Hicks together to collaborate on the stop. It's 3rd down and medium for Boise State.
Yeah, when facing 2nd and long, most people would think about the run game, the quick pass game, trying to get back to a manageable. 3rd and 5 is an either-or down. You're not probably going to run it, but you've got to throw a pass. They're probably going to jam, so you've got to take some chances, either crossing route or a timing route down the field at 6 to 8 yards.
Former quarterback, now head coach Brian Harsin has his leading receiver Spurback at the bottom of the formation. Rippon fans it out the other way, and they're not going to get nearly enough to Holden Huff, the tight end. Hayes Lynn was there along with Ryan Watson. It's a loss of 2 and 4th down.
And you're saying, why run laterally? Why run routes underneath? You're hoping that those will open up throwing lanes down the field by widening the defense or pulling somebody outside. Didn't do it that time. Great job by the Air Force defense.
Boise State 12 out of 20 on 4th down this year. 4th and 7.
Let's see if they're going to pooch punt it or really go for this.
Could make an argument for a field goal as well from 52. Rippon to throw. Has to hurry, and a nice jumping grab by Spurback. Flag down as well. If it stands, it's a 1st down.
And we'll see who this is against. I didn't see the route, but he got open, and one of them pushed off or held. It'll be interesting to see what this call is.
Pass interference, offense, number 82. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, 4th down.
When you get that open and you're feeling press coverage, that right there, I'm not sure I would have called that, but the defensive back got pushed away, Lapido, and great catch, great hands by Spurback, but the reality is he's the guy. Everybody's eyes were on that receiver, so that's a penalty.
Latipo sold it pretty well with a little whiplash job after Spurback released. And now Whale to punt.
Are you saying that was an NBA move?
You can get a technical foul this year for that in college basketball. Garrett Brown, the fair catch. Air Force has brought the pressure against Rippon.
There's no question. We knew that they were coming. They're bringing guys from all angles, and he's getting hit. And the trouble is they're bringing more people than you can protect. So the reality is he's got to find ways to get rid of the ball. I talked about the screen game. That's an example, but that's a long developing screen. I think they need to use quicker ones because they got to protect him. They're already down 1 quarterback this year.
They lost Ryan Finley early on in the season. Rippon took over and has started the last 8 games for Boise State. They've thrown the ball more than 2 to 1 the last 3 weeks, and Rippon again facing pressure tonight. Air Force prone to long drives. 4:40 on the clock in the half. Carson Roberts hit by Vallejo after a short gain, and 2nd down.
One of the things that Air Force would like to do in this case, 4 minutes, 29 seconds left in the half. They would love to put together a drive to take it down the field, milk the clock, but get some points out of this and extend their lead.
Air Force 4th in the country in time of possession, as you might expect with the triple option. Play action again. Roberts throws and has Garrett Brown. Nice move. And Brown has a 1st down to the 40-yard line.
And both of these teams have tempo packages, which means they can go up tempo, up speed very fast. But they're all worried right now, I think, about the defense and getting in the right play. Once again, there was some pressure that time, and Roberts stood in there and delivered a good ball.
Chancellor James got beat on the outside one-on-one. Already over their season average in pass yards, thanks to a 67-yard touchdown. McVay in motion, pitch it the other way, and they get Tyler Williams to the sideline all the way across the 45. 2nd down and short.
The other interesting thing is the defense initially reacts to whichever way the quarterback opens up. It's just a natural response. He opens up one way, but he reverses his field and comes back. So you can just see this. It puts the defense on their heels. They take a half a step the wrong direction.
Already about a minute and a half on the drive for Air Force. There's that dive play, and Jacoby Owens, who wanted to break it from Moore. Vallejo the tackle and a first down for the Falcons. How much does this triple option wear on you as the game goes on?
Well, when you have to protect your legs, especially the knees on down, it's just grating on you. And you know that you always have to do the same assignment. I've got to cancel the dive. I've got to cancel the quarterback. I've got to take the pitch. I've got to hold my gap. And they're going to come, and Air Force is relentless in their pursuit of this. They continue to attack.
And a whistle before the snap. Timeout, Air Force.
Air Force takes its second time out of the half. 30 seconds in duration.
Check into the studio, Adnan Burke.
All right, Jason, thank you very much. Coming up in the DXL halftime report, we'll focus on that huge Big Ten clash in Columbus. Danny Cannell focuses on the one player who will be biggest of all for the Buckeyes against the Spartans. Also, is it make or break for the Big 12? That conference vying for a spot in the playoff. Will focus on the key matchups there, and also the bare necessities why Notre Dame could be in trouble against BC, and also Iowa, number 5 team in the country, potentially a stumble against Purdue. All that more coming up the half. Join us if you please. Jason, back to you.
Oh, we please. We'll definitely join you, Adnan. What do you make of Iowa, Coach Bellotti?
I like Iowa. Iowa's playing the best football in the nation. They're not the best football team. They don't possess the most talent, but they are playing the best football statistically of anybody out there.
Early start coming up tomorrow for Iowa. McVay off the pitch. Williams in front. Cuts it inside. McVay scores. Touchdown, Air Force.
Touchdown, Air Force.
Speed, execution, and blocking on the perimeter. One thing that's lost in a lot of this is that the receivers, the outside guys for Air Force, block so well. They may have blocked too well. There's a penalty flag on the play.
Late flag came in. We'll check the marker.
Personal foul. Defense, number 8. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
That's on Kamale Correa, who's a possible early exit from Boise State to the draft. The juniors had a great season, but McVay bursts free for Air Force. We were talking to Troy Calhoun during the week about his baseball fandom. This is a big inning for Air Force, the last couple of possessions.
That's huge, although they probably scored a little bit faster than they want. Watch the right edge, though, right there. They do a great job. They reach out, and then watch the blocking down the field. Great job by 74 getting on. Receiver, great block right there. And then off to the races. He's got the speed to finish this play. That's what I'm talking about, the option. You got to defend the dive. You got to go outside. You got to keep your leverage on the football and keep your eyes right.
Well, you're talking to Troy Calhoun. He's a basketball fan. He's a football fan. He's a baseball fan. He goes way back, though, with baseball. He was talking Earl Weaver.
He was talking managerial strategies, which I think from a head coaching perspective, we always look at other sports and what coaches do, how they're successful, how they practice, how they substitute. He talked about all those things. I was really impressed with that.
Left-right splits, things like that. Bring somebody in from the bullpen. You're a former baseball player yourself.
Baseball player, former, for a very short period of time, baseball coach. way too much mental stuff going on there.
Troy Calhoun has built this program back up. They were 2-10 just 2 years ago. And really, the Boise State game last year was the turning point. They had lost 15 of 20 before they beat Boise in Colorado Springs. And since then, off to the races for 7-3 Air Force. This is a touchback. Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart features a playoff eliminator essentially in the Big 12. Number 18 TCU and number 7 Oklahoma, 8 Eastern on ABC. Coverage begins tomorrow. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN. There are the Big 12 standings. Oklahoma State has a big one as well before TCU and Baylor get together in the final week of the regular season. Who do you think ends up winning the Big 12?
The winner of Bedlam, Oklahoma State or Oklahoma. Oklahoma State will obviously be undefeated, or if Oklahoma wins, they will be one of the hottest teams in the country.
2:34 to work with for the true freshman, Brett Rippon. Pressure again, and he is snagged and dropped. Lachlan Deeks, the junior out of Salem, Oregon, got a hold of the jersey, second down.
Coverage sack, initial protection was very great. It's hard to take a sack in this situation because time is of the essence. Although you want to keep the ball, you don't want to give it back to Air Force.
Third sack tonight already for the Air Force Falcons, number 33 on the year. Rippon has to move in the pocket. And too much for Spurbeck, who's been shadowed by Ladapo today. Now, 3rd and 10, 2 minutes to go. Air Force has a chance to get this thing back.
Great job. I've been impressed all year with the fact that Air Force trusts their corners and their secondary enough to play man-to-man defense. Add that extra rusher, a 5th and 6th rusher to the mix. They're living on pressure. Sometimes pipes burst under pressure.
110 yards the last 36 plays for Boise State. About 3 a play since the opener. Line drive incomplete for Spurbeck, and a flag comes in late. Ladapo didn't see it at first.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what that was. It was pass interference. It might have been just a little bit too physical that time.
Pass interference, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And when you're playing man-to-man, you have to be physical. We watched the receiver at the top right when he comes inside. See his hands on him right there? He just kept his hands on a little bit too long, and he had that right hand on the backside is what the official saw.
Air Force had a chance at back-to-back 3-and-outs defensively. Penalty continues the drive. Watson coming with pressure, and Rippon unleashes out of bounds. Ladapo and Spurbeck getting to know each other very well, and another flag comes in.
Well, and that was a push out of bounds. That's if you're forced out of bounds, you have to reestablish as a receiver come back in bounds.
Pass interference, defense, number 25. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
Right now, Boise is saying if they're going to play man-to-man, we're going to put the ball up. We trust our receivers to either make plays or get penalties called. Here you can see it as we go down the field. That unfortunately, that happens while the ball is in the air, and that's why the penalty was called, going to that receiver.
It's the 4th Boise State first down by penalty tonight. 2nd straight against Ladapo. Rippon again goes down. DJ Dunn, who had the earlier block, with the sack.
Same thing. If you're going to run routes that far down the field, you're going to have to add a person to the protection. If not, you're going to end up, they're bringing 4 or 5 right there, and he's having to hold the ball because they're running routes so far down the field. Get rid of the ball just a little bit quicker.
How about a screen? Batted down.
Great job. Right now, this Air Force defense, which I think a lot of people have believed has kept this team in contention. They've sputtered at times offensively, but right now this defense is being aggressive, is taking it to the Broncos, and other than first play, that first play of the game, they've really played very, very well.
That was the 2nd team all-conference lineman, Alex Hansen, who got a hand in. 3rd and 13, they've got to have the Air Force 38 for a first down. Rippon, too much air under it. Double coverage for the tight end row. 4th down, buck 18 to go. 1 timeout left for Air Force, staring down the barrel of getting the ball back.
And Air Force is not the type of team with 1:18 to go because they don't throw the ball that well. They don't want to drop back, but they can get the explosive play via the option. So watch them to run their same attack, the dive option, speed option to the sideline, all that type of thing.
Sean Whale to punt. Garrett Brown lets it bounce. And the dual threat quarterback, Carson Roberts, gets it back. Run, pass option. He's done both tonight.
He's done a very nice job. We see it right here. He's the guy. He does a nice job of cutting upfield. As I talked about, he's got sneaky speed. He's got good touch right here, right on the fingertips of his tight end. Great throw. And then once again, nice throw over the top. Trail defender, but he gets it there. And once he does, Robinette makes him pay.
Well, we told you that Air Force has the 3rd best rushing attack in the country, but Carson Roberts through the air with a buck 43. His first career start He ran for 161, which was the most for an Air Force starter since 2002. He's done it in the air tonight. 70 seconds to go in the half, and Garrett Brown stays in bounds, dances inside, breaking tackles for a first down.
That was the same play the other way that they took to the house last time. So repeating plays when they're good is okay. And also they gave him a chance. When you run to the sideline like that, he can run and get out of bounds to stop the clock. Time is a little bit of the essence here, but also once you've got the first down, keep going. Get the first down. You talk about first down, out of bounds, or touchdown.
Clock moving, 50 seconds to go in the half. McVay this time behind Williams blocking. And McVay stood up by Ben Weaver. One timeout left for Air Force, and they will expend it here.
And this is Air Force's 2-minute offense right here. Just run that toss sweep, block well, get first downs, get out of bounds.
Takes their third and final timeout of the half. 30 seconds in duration.
So what's Air Force really playing for on this drive? What's Troy Calhoun's most likely hope?
Well, his first hope is they score a touchdown. They break one of these long gains. The second thing is that they can get down to try a last-second field goal or to try a Hail Mary into the end zone. Give him one more chance to score and try to put another dagger in. He's not taking the pedal off the metal, I'll just tell you that.
Well, and rightfully so. Air Force is in control of its own destiny in the Mountain Division of the Mountain West Conference. Right now standing at 5-1 in the league. 2 wins means a Mountain Division championship and a crack at the Mountain West championship game in a couple of weeks. San Diego State needs just 1 win at UNLV coming up on Saturday to clinch the West. Now, Boise State with a win tonight would still be able to get in. And talking to Brian Harsin, the head coach for Boise State, he said, look, he used his hands to expand it. He said, we've had this amount of a chance to get in, and then it contracted, became this small, and then became this big again. They're still in it, but they need a win tonight.
They don't quite control their own destiny, but they can certainly help themselves.
Need a stop here, 2nd and 2. Carson Roberts, who's not been sacked all year, and down he goes.
And that's not a good sign. They may now, if they don't like this, just let the clock run. This was sort of a one-shot deal. I think if they were going to run 4 verticals, and if they had a guy open, he was going to put it up. And if not, they said, okay, this is our shot. We'll let the clock run.
No team had allowed 0 sacks dating back to when the records were kept to 1996. This is the first sack of the year against the Air Force Falcons.
And you know why? Because it was a drop back pass when everybody knew they were going to pass.
Rarely happens. Air Force sack number 1, but a 24-13 lead. Stay tuned for an interview with Air Force head coach Troy Calhoun during halftime. But first, we go to the studio with the DXL halftime report. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. From the Gem State, Boise, Idaho. It was a lead for the Broncos. Air Force rampaged back to lead 24-13 at the half. Jason Benetti with College Football Hall of Famer Mike Bellotti. Allison Williams is downstairs. Look, Coach, Air Force hasn't won a league championship since 1998. This team looks the part right now.
Well, they're playing it. Their offense is running on high octane right now. They're doing all the things that they need to do, and they're putting pressure on the Boise State quarterback and not allowing them to go. Let's watch this offense just out. Start with the dive. You've got to stop the dive. If you don't stop the dive, it's a staple of the offense, but they're also capable of breaking the big play there. Off of that, let's look at the pitch, the play outside. Now, if you stack inside too much, you've got to get off blocks on the outside. If you don't, a big play is going to erupt. And then that all sets up the play action. Or great pass. Quarterback Carson Roberts on the top, over the top. Robin had a mismatch for the secondary, and I'm not sure what the Boise defense was doing on that particular play.
Well, the Boise defense has seen this array from Air Force. How do you assess the defense against triple option?
Well, right now they're struggling a little bit. You look at those numbers and they're running the ball, and then the run, the success with the run is setting up the play action, which has also resulted in several big plays.
Air Force had 24 points in the first half and no third down conversions. Let's check in downstairs to Allison, who was just with Brian Harsin.
Yeah, guys, and when Brian Harsin talked to us yesterday, he mentioned that the one thing they needed to do defensively was really limit explosive plays. They knew Air Force would gain some yards, but they couldn't let them get those chunk plays, which they have. So number one focus on defense is eliminating those explosive plays. They've been caught out of position a couple times, which was a concern for him. And the eye discipline was not what it needed to be. They got distracted in the backfield a few times, and that cost them. As far as offense goes, they have to do a better job protecting their quarterback, Brett Rippon, and they also need to get back to running the ball.
We'll see if they do that when they get the ball back. Air Force first, off the play action, and right down the middle to the tight end, Garrett Griffin, who had a big catch in the first half, and a first down here as we embark on quarter number 3. It goes for 18. Weaver the tackle.
It's always going to be interesting to watch the halftime adjustments and how they play out in the third quarter. The first drive of the third quarter, a lot of coaches believe, is one of the most important of the game. Let's see if Air Force can continue to befuddle the Boise State defense.
Plus 190 in the second quarter for Air Force's offense compared to Boise. Carson Roberts squeezes through a small hole. Armand Nance, the tackle, the senior defensive lineman, second down on the way. And what should we be watching for as Boise gets worn down against his triple option?
Well, one of the things is continuing to do your assignment, do your job, as Coach Harsin has talked about. Make sure that you trust that others will do theirs. Keep your eyes right and eliminate the potential for the big play. You've got to hang on. And you've got to change up the way you attack the offensive line, because if they know every time where you're going to line up, they can attack you correctly.
Roberts again, the keeper. Tanner Vallejo, the stop, the former defensive MVP of the Fiesta Bowl last year. Third down.
And 3rd and 4 for Air Force is an anything counts down. They can run the inside veer, the outside veer, the toss sweep. They can throw the ball off of play action. It really puts the defense in a difficult situation.
Brian Harsin wanted more energy from his sideline. He's got it right now on 3rd and 4. Rare eye look for Air Force. They pass out of it. Open man, the tight end, Griffin. Another big hit for the Falcons.
We talked about the diversity of the Air Force offense in that they can run the power eye. They can run any multitude of options out of a multitude of formations. Boise State lost the tight end, Garrett Griffin, with the play fake. Watch him. He's right there inside. He comes down like he's going to block on Vallejo. Vallejo, once again, the victim of this. It probably is not his fault overall. However, they have to find a way to get their eyes right in the secondary.
Mentioned Garrett Griffin missed the first month of the season, plus he was injured in pregame warm-ups in the opener. He's back with a vengeance now, a 51-yard touchdown. Air Force soaring in the third quarter. Air Force's offense is to create confusion, and a discussion here between Boise State defenders.
Well, and Boise State is confusing me. They're playing without any safety help. They don't have one safety. They don't have two safeties. There's no safety helping a linebacker cover a receiver down the field, and it's hurt them very badly twice.
That was Dante Dion and Chancellor James talking it over as this kick goes out of bounds for Air Force. This week, College Game Day crew is back in Columbus for the first time in 5 years for this Big Ten battle between Michigan State and Ohio State. Reese and the gang set you up for that. Inside Game Day, the Coos Bay connection. Mark Helfrich and his head coaching style, how that came about. Tom Rinaldi goes beyond the crop top with Ezekiel Elliott to see what makes him tick and maybe makes him cry. And then Baker Mayfield as well from transfer to walk-on to chasing a Big 12 title, Baker Mayfield's journey through his own words at Oklahoma. That's Inside Game Day. That's what's coming up on College Game Day, presented by the Home Depot tomorrow. Always fun to see what they've got in store for us, and a short run on first down for McNichols.
Boise is risking having no chance to win this game. Can they win it? Yes. But they need to score on offense with some big plays, and they need to find a key to stopping the Air Force attack. It's going to take all that. There's plenty of time left in this game. They need some good things to happen.
Not that. A drop by Rowe. Third down. This is 28 unanswered by the Air Force offense.
And I think it's partly, too, it's been the defense that has really responded. And after the first series, Boise's been held in check, and they need to do something, find a way to establish either the running game or get a quick passing game going to escape the pressure that Air Force has put on Ripon.
4 of 11 on third down for Boise. Pressure coming, had to throw it quickly and behind Rowe. Fourth down, 3 and out Boise at the wrong time.
Pressure is tough, like I said. Is this a catchable? It's a great pass? No, but at some point you've got to find a way to make a play. There is pressure. They're bringing one more that they can block. You got to try to find a way to make that play. And as this continues to go, it's going to test the confidence and the poise of the freshman quarterback, Ripon.
Fifth punt for Sean Whale. Brown waves it off and backpedals out of the way. Favorable bounce for Boise inside the 10, and it rolls to the 6. Celebrating its 11th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. Well, 58-yard punt certainly helps, and Air Force pinned back. But this, again, is the third best rushing team in the country and very willing to bleed out some clock.
Yeah, and Boise knows that. They need to make some adjustments. I'm going to be surprised if they're not having some type of safety help in the middle of the field.
Tyler Williams to the outside, and Vallejo wraps him up. Downstairs to Allison.
Coach Harsin told us yesterday he needed to see more leadership in the face of adversity. Well, that is exactly what Kamale Correa was providing on the sideline. After giving up that touchdown, he got his defense together, and he basically told them very passionately, I'm tired of this. I'm sick of losing here. We lost here last week. We're not letting that happen again this week. We need to go out there and turn this game around and win this thing.
He's the guy that had the sack on the final play of the Fiesta Bowl of Anu Solomon last year. They thin out the defense again and use the run with Carson Roberts. Hit by Gray at a first down, so they cannot get the stop before Air Force moves the sticks. Gain of 6.
And we talked about the balance they have between the dive, the keep, and the pitch. And what it does is really stretches the defense thin. Then when you add the play action game, you have to be very aware. In order to protect for the deep play, you're going to take a little bit of the eyes away from the front and the run support initially.
Pitch to McVay. He's got the sideline and continues to churn. Let me ask you this. Can that extra energy on the sideline maybe be a detriment for Boise State, getting a little too nosy at the line and out of your gaps?
Yes, if you can't control your emotion, if it works against you, it's not good. But if you notice that time, Boise took one of the defenders, 24, back to the middle of the field. They weakened the box. You got to run from Air Force. It's a chess match about how many people in the box, where should we run the ball. If they bring them up and force it, we're going to throw the ball over their head.
It's Cameron Miles, the safety, shouldering a bigger load with Darian Thompson out with a concussion. Roberts, sideline again, McVay. Wide open players all night long for Air Force inside the 20 with Weaver on the tackle. That one goes for 56.
Cameron Miles got picked off a little bit by his own man, or slipped and fell. And the reality is right now, you see the sort of pick by his own man right there. The wheel out of the backfield was a dagger in the side of Boise State last week. They've got to see that play. It's a dangerous thing, but it puts a linebacker typically in space on a receiver.
That says it all tonight for the fans in Boise, who haven't seen back-to-back week home losses since 1993. Jacoby Owens hopping through. Second down on the way. That was the third pass play of 50 or more tonight for Air Force.
Yeah, they're averaging something like 25 yards a pass attempt, which is very good. And we talked about Carson Roberts is not the most accurate passer. He's not a perfect passer, but he's come up with huge plays tonight, and it's been because of the running game and their ability to take advantage of that Boise State defense.
On the ground for Owens, and Weaver's been busy tonight. Third down coming up. Boise needs a stop.
Boise needs a stop. That's exactly what I was going to say. They need some momentum. Even forcing a field goal attempt here will be a positive effort for the team and can help to get them excited about this game again. Maybe have the few fans that are still here get excited about the game. But Air Force can also put a dagger in the heart by scoring a touchdown.
On the reverse, McVay. Boise has it hemmed in. Down he goes. Dante Dion. Loss of 1, fourth down.
Dante Dion, only 155 pounds, wringing wet, but they say pound for pound he's one of the best athletes, best cover corners, and best tacklers they have on the team.
Do they drench the athletes before they weigh them? How do you know when they're wringing wet? Strable to kick from 32. Straight on through. It's a 21-point game for Air Force. Falcons need 2 wins for a Mountain Division championship. They're on their way.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Fitbit. Find your fit at Fitbit.com. And Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
Big plays all night for Air Force in a 34-13 lead. Boise State in uncharted territory right now. I told you they hadn't lost back-to-back games at home in back-to-back weeks since '93. Last 20-plus point loss at home was 0-1 Washington State. You know who won the Pac-10 then? That year, don't you?
I believe I do, yes.
You do?
Yeah, I think that might have been a Ducks win.
Yeah, it might have been a game ahead of that Washington State team. One of your fond memories.
Yes, that was one of them. I'll tell you what, you always talk about that, but I'm thinking more about this game right now. And Boise State needs something good to happen, either on special teams or defense, and then back it up with some offensive prowess.
Terrell Johnson hits the 22, and that is all. How about the Air Force offense and Carson Roberts, the senior?
Wow, how efficient have they been throwing the football? Big plays. They've kept the Boise defense off balance with these plays. Boise playing without any safety help over the middle, seemingly, and they're taking advantage of it. When they do, they run the ball. When they don't, they're going to throw it over the top. And Carson Roberts, at his best in these touch type of passes, hitting these guys behind the Boise State secondary.
Talk about pass efficiency. About 27 yards per pass attempt tonight for Air Force. Rippin with time, and he's got a completion to Chaz Anderson across the 35 for a first down.
And we talked about, with the absence of Shane Williams-Rhodes, that Chaz needed to step up and be a huge part of this offense tonight, make more plays.
He had a ball bounce off his chest on the first drive last week against New Mexico. It was intercepted. He's got 3 for 32 tonight as McNichols weaves his way for a couple of yards. 21-point lead for Air Force right now. You're watching ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. Allison Williams is freezing downstairs. Mike Bellotti, Jason Benetti, our entire crew here in Boise, Idaho. Boise had the lead on the first play from scrimmage. It was an 83-yard touchdown run from this man, Jeremy McNichols. But since then, all Air Force, 34 of the next 40 points.
And this type of a game will test a team's will. When you get down and behind to a very good football team that has a potential score and to run the clock out on you, you've got to find ways right now to inspire your squad. Somebody's got to make a play for Boise, whether it be on offense, defense, or special teams. They got to come up with some point getters quickly.
Brian Harsin told us he was looking for bounce back guys on the sideline, guys that responded well to difficult times in the game, and they will run here with McNichols. Steelhammer wrapped him up, but a strong run for a first down for Jeremy McNichols. Just 4 yards, but the type of thing you're looking for.
Exactly. Getting first downs and establishing a dominance at the line of scrimmage that you can count on. Running the football. They're not going to be able to make a living on it because they're 3 scores down. But the reality is it'll loosen up the defense a little bit.
Still over 21 minutes left. Rippon, the true freshman, to throw. Heaves it sideline. A long ball. Incomplete. Brody Hicks came over as the second man in coverage over Spurbeck.
Spurbeck, we talked about the fact that he's a great receiver. He's not a blazer. He's not the biggest guy, and he's hampered a little bit by an ankle that's probably not allowing him to play 100%. He got bumped a little bit there, and had he been able to make a better effort for the ball, actually might have got a pass interference call.
Spurbeck has been quiet tonight. 3 catches, 9 yards after a Boise State record 20 for 281 last week in the loss. This one goes out into the flat for A.J. Richardson, just his 8th catch of the year for the redshirt freshman. He gets 6. It's 3rd and 4.
And I'm going to tell you that I think it's 3rd and 4, but I think it's 4 down territory right now. They're across the 50. They're down 3 scores. You've got to do something. And I know it's difficult and dangerous to give the ball to Air Force at that point, but I think this is 2 down territory for the offense.
Just 140 yards since that opening play from scrimmage for Boise State. They will run. That may be telling, and driven back. Ryan Watson all over McNichols. 4th down. What do you think of the call?
Well, I don't think he thought he was going to lose yardage on that play. I really believe he was in 4 down territory. Said you've got 2 plays to get it. So the coordinator thought I'll get some with the run or I'll get it all with the run. Air Force responded to it.
That's 9 tackles for loss tonight for the Falcons. 4th and 5.
I think you can throw the ball to either slot receiver for the first down right now.
Quick set for Rippon. Tapped and incomplete. Washington might have had 6. Air Force gets the ball anyway.
Great play by Washington, breaking on the ball.
Air Force gets the hold. Falcons on their way to a Mountain Division championship. They need the win tonight. They're leading.
I love it when you get that lead. Boots on, stomp your feet. It's like you've been waiting on.
Back to Boise, Idaho. Air Force 34-13 over Boise State. And a turnover on downs for the homestanding Broncos. Leads to Air Force possession, building on a 500-yard day already. McVay on the run. You know, with the triple option, you wouldn't think explosive offense, but for the last 5 games, they've been over 500 yards now.
They're hitting on all cylinders. The trouble, too, is Boise needs a turnover of some type, but when you try to make something happen, if you go outside your discipline against the option, it can hurt you.
So this isn't the type of team you're going to be able to make a living turnover-wise on?
No, I don't think so. And I don't think you want to try to force turnovers. You got to play solid defense first.
Roberts, step back, incomplete. Wanted Robinette, and 3rd down coming up.
Coach has made an interesting observation about Carson Roberts. They said when he's comfortable and sure of what he's going to do, he throws very, very well. If he's uncertain about something, the ball tends to flutter, and that seemed like he was uncertain about where he wanted to go with that ball. Sometimes it's better, too, to just throw the ball away and save the possession of the football.
Last 2 weeks combined over 500 yards through the air for Air Force and the quarterback Carson Roberts, who grew up a Tim Tebow fan. 3rd down. Out into the flat, McVay with blockers in front at a 1st down. Tackled by Dante Dion, but not in time. Air Force continues the drive.
And that was a very well thrown ball that hit the receiver in stride. Watch this right now. Watch where he catches this ball right at the line of scrimmage, which allows the receivers downfield to block for him.
Miles Barnes, the receiver, engaged to spring him free. First down for Air Force. Said stop the dive first. They go Jacoby Owens straight ahead for 5. Second down.
One of the things that you always worry about when playing Air Force or Navy or Army or Georgia Southern, any of the wishbone style teams, is if you get down more than 1 or 2 scores, they can run the clock on you. They have an offense that just eats up time. They don't typically throw the ball or put the ball on the ground.
Came in with no turnovers the last 3 games, then fumbled on their first drive as Owens leans for a couple. Kamale Correa, the junior who we saw earlier, Allison reporting on Correa, trying to fire up the troops over on the sideline. He had the tackle. And what do you do if you're on that defense? How do you make a big play happen?
That's the problem when you're facing the option, because you have to be disciplined. You have to do your assignment. You have to trust that others are doing theirs. It's hard to deviate from that pattern because a big play can result. This might also be 4-down territory for Air Force.
2 for 6 on 3rd down tonight. Brown in motion to the short side, and McVay with a nice block to push him forward right to the stick.
And this is what I keep saying. Air Force, the multiplicity of what they do. This is just absolutely a toss sweep, student body left, and they do a great job of getting it. And the defensive line is playing basically to stop the dive first. So the first step may be more of a penetration step, a power step, as opposed to a read step.
McVay in for the injured DJ Johnson and the injured Benton Washington. Owens finds some room. You were talking about this offense earlier. You said it might be as much offense as 3 teams combined.
Yeah, they run, the totality of what they do would equal 2 or 3 complete offenses for other schools. The reality is, as I said, they run power formation football out of the eye, play action out of that. They run the quarterback back in the shotgun and run the zone read concepts. They run up like this with double wing, and then all of the wishbone stuff comes into play. It's very difficult to prepare for.
Take the pitch. Roberts off his back foot. Intercepted. Raymond Ford takes it out. Ford has room. There's the big play for Boise State. Carson Roberts cut him down at the 39.
That very well may have woken up the team. But they need to respond by finishing this drive. I would have said as a coach, get down in the end zone, but I think he said, I've got to make something happen. I'm going to fire this team up. The play action fake, as we talked about, this is probably not one of the best choices by Carson Roberts tonight. Great job of tracking the ball down. And then, as I said, as a coach, I'd say probably get down, but no. I think he's going to take off and go for a while.
Right around the 30-yard line, you like the decision.
Yeah.
As a coach?
Absolutely. The results were great.
See what the freshman Rippon can do. The nephew of the former NFL quarterback Mark. Tight end Rowe. And he goes thundering ahead into Ross. First down.
Okay, 2 things about that. Quick pass. Don't stress the protection. Don't stress the quarterback. Throw to a big receiver. Use the clock. They really need something positive to happen on this drive. 4th
target for Rowe, who they figured they'd use more tonight with the injury to Williams-Rhodes. And there's a bullet incomplete for Spurbeck, who's been shadowed by Latipo, the junior, all night long. Spurbeck was injured earlier. We saw him getting some work.
Yeah, he doesn't look like, he does not look like the same receiver that I watched on film last week. I think that ankle is hurting him. It's limiting his mobility and his ability to cut and break out, accelerate out of cuts.
Rippon just 12 for 29 tonight, under 100 yards. Wants the pump and go. Sideline. Anderson through his arms.
Unfortunately, that's a catch that he needed and the team needed. But a great throw by Rippon and great protection to allow him to throw that ball down the field. This is tough for a receiver. That's a hard throw on that outside shoulder. You got to track it. You've got to catch the near end of the football. A lot of times you lose it up there, but you just have to catch the nearest point.
Nearly 10 drops last week against New Mexico for Rippon. Even so, he threw for 503. Third down now off the interception. Rippon incomplete again. And he ends up on the deck.
You know, Air Force keeping the pressure up, as we talked about. That's their mode of operation. They're going to come after you, find a way to get a hit on the quarterback. Two guys meet at the quarterback, and the ball dropped. The receivers need to support their quarterback right now.
0 for 1 for Boise on fourth down. Huge play of the game. Blitz comes, picked up, caught over the middle, spur back. They needed one, and they got him in front of Latipo. First down.
He may not get a lot of run after catch tonight, but he's still got the best hands on the team. And Rippon went in trouble, knew where to go, said, I'm going to go to my guy that can catch the football, will support me, and he got great protection that time.
Momentum building. Sideline again, spur back. Cuts inside for the touchdown.
It's a long way to come back, but that's the first step.
The offensive MVP of last year's Fiesta Bowl has a 34-yard touchdown. Air Force was driving to try and build on a lead. Boise needed something. They got it with an interception from Raymond Ford. Broncos took over. Freshman quarterback Brett Rippon hangs in and finds his favorite target. Two-score game. Some push-ups for the Boise State Bronco cheerleaders. They were starting to get a little bored over on the sideline. Hadn't scored for a while. It's the longest play for Boise, the 34-yard hit. Longest play since the first play from scrimmage, and Rippon with a more positive phone call this time upstairs.
If I'm Coach Harsin, though, I might be a little bit scared. Air Force threw an interception. We scored a touchdown. Air Force may not throw the ball again this game. They may just run it and take time off the clock, and unfortunately with that offense, they can do that.
Tyler Williams from the 2. He'll set him up at the 24 tonight after what's sure to be a great one between the Bulls and the unbeaten Warriors. Stick around for Sports Center at night. All the highlights from the NBA, NHL, college basketball too. We'll preview a busy weekend in college football. Sports Center at night after Bulls Warriors on ESPN and streaming live on Watch ESPN. You've got to love, as a coach, what the Warriors do, how fluid they are offensively.
I love Seth Curry. I love the fact that he can shoot. I love the fact that he doesn't mind taking a shot from anywhere on the court.
Somebody makes a play. That's what Boise State needs.
Never up, never in. Got to give it a shot.
First play, double back on the pitch. Tyler Williams strung out nicely. Raymond Ford, who had the interception on the previous drive, belted him out of bounds.
And that's the way Boise State defense played on the first play of the game. And maybe they've got that same energy back. They've got to continue to do that every down.
No need to run a play here for Air Force. They will anyway. Roberts off the freeze, down the seam, incomplete. Another chancy play call. They wanted Griffin. Third down. What say you, Coach Bellotti?
Well, they were a little bit greedy, but I guarantee you there is respect for Boise and what they can do offensively and the weapons that they have right there. They need to continue to score. I think they feel, too, that if they load the box, if Boise's playing defense to stop the run, then we need to take advantage of that and attack them in the secondary with the play-action pass.
Air Force has thrown for 279 tonight for Troy Calhoun, the former Air Force quarterback himself. Roberts on third down. Heaves it to the edge. Intercepted. Chancellor James this time, his first of the year.
Wow, that was ill-advised.
Carson Roberts hadn't thrown an interception since October 17th. He's thrown 2 in his last 3 passes. Boise State ball into the fourth quarter. We knew those Mike Bellotti dance instruction videos would pay off.
That looks semi-choreographed, yeah.
That's a kick right there. And Boise needed a little bit of a kick, too. Brian Harsin draws everybody together during the timeout. What's he saying, do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what. He's saying, look, guys, look what we've just done the last 3 series. We got 2 turn takeaways and a score. Just double pass. Here we go.
Spurbeck to Rippon.
Better throw that one away.
To row 3.
All right. But you know what? I don't think he's talking about getting people fired up. I think he's giving them the idea, guys, we can win this game. The divisional hopes are on the line right now. If you're not fired up, you can't be alive. Come on, let's go. Let's have some fun.
I want to play for you now. Second down inside Air Force territory. On the delay, McNichols swallowed up. Jacob Onichi, the junior linebacker who they call Spaceman, with a nice tackle in open field. Third down.
The hard part about a trick play on first down is that the reality is if you don't get it, you're in a long yardage situation. They run the draw thinking they might be able to sneak one through. No dice. Air Force defense is there.
Pocket holds up for Rippon and way off the mark for Rowe. Fourth down.
A little extracurricular there. Somebody gave a player the seat, and I think Boise would like to have seen a penalty flag thrown there.
That's Mario Yaku getting a talking to from the official. And Grant Ross involved. Watch the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, that, you know, that stuff, well, too many guys involved there.
Play the whistle. Triangle there.
Unfortunately, that sucked a little bit of momentum out of Boise State's comeback right there.
Wales punt. Fair caught by Brown. Air Force gets it back after a 31-yard punt, up by 14. Late November is right around the time you start to say, boy, it's getting dark early. It happens fast here in Boise, Idaho. Beautiful city. They love their football. Air Force leading 34-20. Allison is downstairs doing some falconry. Allison?
Yes, some falcon research, some live falcons. We, I guess, officially have 4 mascots that have made the trip. The white one here is Aurora. She's a Gyr falcon. She's the official mascot. In the middle, you have Oblio, who is the peregrine falcon. And this bird you don't want to mess with. 250 miles an hour, is that right?
252, yes.
And then you have Echo, who is a prairie falcon, equally beautiful, and the bird on the end, who is also being held on his perch, as are all of the Air Force Falcons here. Absolutely beautiful creatures, and I find it fascinating. Obviously, we know they can fly, but these guys actually fly with you on the airplane just like this.
Yes, man. We fly with them commercially, so we hold them on our gloves in the seat. You get 1 or 2 reactions. Either people are terrified, they don't want to talk to you, like kind of lean away, or they're talking to you the whole time. So
they're beautiful, and I know when they get excited, you can see with Oblio here, he might be a little camera shy. They actually have little helmets and kind of blinders they put on them, so if we get too excited, they can cover up their eyes, and that's what you do when you fly with them on the airplane.
So, this is a hood. It's basically a blindfold, and it just it just calms them down. It's kind of like horse blinders or the crocodile hunter when he jumped on crocodiles. He'd throw a bed sheet over their eyes. Just calms animals down.
All right, yeah, we'll let you go ahead and suit him up then. We can calm down. There's lots to be excited about down here, though, guys. But how beautiful are these animals making the trip to Boise?
They're beautiful. They don't want to be calmed down, though. He's fighting back, just like the Falcons on offense here. 3rd down and 1 for Roberts, and he's got it. You said it earlier, Coach. They are tremendous at the sneak.
Yeah, and the reality is every defensive football coach in the nation is telling Air Force now to just run the football. Maybe some offensive coaches would disagree with that, but I doubt it. The reality is that the Boise State defense has taken the ball away the last 2 times Air Force has had it because they've thrown the ball up for them. I don't know if they're going to see another pass tonight, but if they load the box, Air Force's response is to throw play action.
You're saying passings for the Birds?
Exactly. Unless you can go 250 miles an hour.
1st down. McVay out of the backfield off the pitch. Nice footwork. And across the 40, 1st down. Chancellor James had to crack him down.
McVay has the speed and the agility to be going full speed to the sideline, still turn it up, tiptoe that sideline. He's done a great job tonight.
Starting a great weekend of college football. Frank Beamer's final home game at Virginia Tech. They're wearing all black for that game. Good day to have a couple of screens. Watch college football in the daytime, and they blow it dead, and they will measure. Looked fairly cut and dried to the naked eye.
Yeah, but we've been surprised several times tonight by the officials and their decisions. So I'm not going to say anything on this one. All I will say is that
you just said you weren't going to say anything.
No,
now.
I'm going a different direction. I'm going to talk about Air Force. If they get this 1st down, I think they're very comfortable at this point running the football. A 2-touchdown lead and a 1st down. And Boise needs something to happen. They've got to find a way to rip or strip the ball carrier. Or if the ball goes up in the air, a Boise defender has to come down with it.
If you're Troy Calhoun, when's the next time you pass?
When I pass go. Do not pass, go, whatever that thing is. Maybe not again tonight.
I don't know that I want to go to game night at the Bellotti household. McVay with a 1st down. He got 10.5. Crowd trying to rile up Boise. McVay again. Pushed into the backfield. Boy, Garrett Brown just got manhandled. Tyler Horn came in and finished the deal.
That was a great job by Boise's defense reacting. Watch the speed. Watch how they beat the blockers to the outside, destroy the lead blocker out there, and then the pursuit catches up. Tremendous job. That's the way you stop that speed sweep.
Tyler Gray just lit up Garrett Brown. It's a loss of 4. 2nd and 14.
I still don't buy the pass.
Roberts, over 100 already on the ground, is met by Joe Materano. And 3rd down coming up.
And I think that for the most part, I don't think that was a design play. The offensive line is not going downfield. That was his choice. He wasn't going to put the ball up when there was any danger. He saw an opening. Smart play. Got to a very manageable 3rd and 5.
He got 9. Roberts over 300 total yards today.
And kept the clock moving.
Down to 5 of the play clock. They take away the dive. Roberts gets belted by Chancellor James. Short of the marker, 4th down.
That was the play that is set up for them to run the quick toss to the wide side of the field. They came back with the companion play to the other side. Carson Roberts is sort of shaking his head like, okay, am I still here? That was a huge hit right here. You see it right now. He's cutting up, trying to get there, and then nice job. Good shoulder pad tackle. No head contact.
Well, he's doing a capstone project to place a satellite into orbit. That time he got popped pretty far down that turf here in Boise. Punt time for Boise. Dion, who is a game time decision, the fair catch. It's up to the freshman quarterback Brett Rippon to lead his offense. They're down 2 scores.
ESPN College Football is presented by Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Sandwiches and in part by the Restyled Accord from Honda.
Entertaining night last night with the crew at the lanes in Boise, Idaho. Nobody's more charged up than Allison Williams.
My mom would be proud of that.
I'm sure she would. That's why her nickname's 7-10 split, right?
It wasn't quite a 7-10 split, but I think it was about the only spare I picked up all night. I was more excited about that than the many strikes I got prior to, because I was struggling to pick up spares all night. And that was in the 10th frame, so it kept me alive, and I'm competitive. I was a little excited.
No, well done. Great job. Bowling yesterday, Falcons today. Out into the flat, Terrell Johnson is blasted by Weston Steelhammer. Second down and long for Boise State.
I'm not as big a fan of the longer developing plays. I'd like to get the ball out of Rippon's hands a little quicker.
Air Force hasn't allowed an offensive touchdown in the 4th quarter in 5 games. Not the place you want to be if you're Boise State. 2nd and 14. Rippon has Spurback at Latipo right there again. His shadow. 3rd down after a gain of 8. 3rd and 6.
Got about half of it back. Still a tough 3rd down because you're not going to get off coverage where they give you any easy throws to make that yardage.
Spurback 14 targets on 37 Rippon throws tonight. 3rd and 6. McNichols out of the backfield had to make a move to get by Ross, and Connor Healy took him down 2 yards short. What do you do?
This is a difficult one. It depends on how much you trust the call. You ask the offensive coordinator, do you have a call you like? And because this obviously is field goal territory, he may request a measurement just to have a little bit more time to think about it. Somebody down on the field without their helmet.
DJ Dunn involved in that play for Air Force. He had the blocked field goal earlier in the game for the Falcons.
You know, maybe 2 to 3 possessions left in the game, depending on Air Force's offensive attack. So I think you got to go for it at this point, being down 2 scores. But it's dangerous, and I think they decided maybe not.
The reaction's very telling for the head coach Brian Harsin over on the sideline. It looked like he wanted to, couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, I think he's not happy about it. You got to have a feeling that there's a play you really, really like, that your players will really, really like and feel good about. There's always the fake potential, though.
Seventh punt tonight for the junior Sean Whale. And he does kick it, no fake. Forced a bunch of fair catches tonight. Garrett Brown, no chance to return. Air Force gets it back. The Mountain Division leaders on the ball, up 14 late. Tomorrow, college football presented by Kay Jewelers features a Big Ten doubleheader. Number 12, Michigan and Jim Harbaugh against Penn State and Happy Valley. Then at 3:30, number 9, Michigan State taking on the number 3 undefeated Buckeyes at the Horseshoe. Both games also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Huge day in the Big Ten to figure out who might be the representative in the college football playoff, if any, out of the Big Ten. Air Force trying to salt away a win tonight and help its Mountain Division lead. Over the middle, intercepted. They throw it again, and Weaver ripped it off.
4 consecutive series, 3 takeaways and a stop. The Boise State defense is doing everything they can to get back in this game. And he was open a little early, but a great job by the offside guy coming across to help. You see him right there tracking the ball. Great job. That play worked earlier. It did not work now.
Ben Weaver started every game this year. That's his second career interception. The first one came last week against New Mexico.
My comment about throwing the ball, I'm going to say it a little bit more firmly next time.
Just do not throw the ball.
Do not throw it.
Pile being pushed by the offensive lineman Travis Averill. About a yard on first down. The carry for McNichols. But you said the linebackers had to play well against this triple option. Weaver has had a nice night.
He's done a nice job, and that was a huge play in this game. But what Boise has to do right now is find a way to get some offense going, not just big plays, but they've got time to get a couple of drives together. Their defense is playing very, very well.
Long throw for Rippon. He has a catch for Spurbeck. Working on Jesse Washington this time. It's been Latipo for most of the night. This time he turns Washington around at a first down, gain of 13.
And that was a scary throw from the right side of the field all the way across the field. Had the corner been in a little bit better position, I'm not sure that with that young freshman at this point, he's taking some punishment. I think they're going to challenge his arm by playing him just as much man-to-man as they can.
McNichols, strong run, hit by Grant Ross. And second down and medium on the way.
I think Boise has time, as I said, to put together some drives. They're going to mix it up and keep the run, keep the defense honest.
Big play threat down at the bottom. Chaz Anderson, Spurbeck, the leading receiver with 7 catches up top. They run instead, and McNichols bottled up by Lachlan Deeks, and it's third down.
Great response by the front 7 of Air Force. There were no gaps. There was no openings there. Everybody kept their leverage. Tremendous job forcing really a play just to run it into the pile.
Third down and 4 after no gain for McNichols. We start your weekend of college football. Rippon to throw. Pocket holds up. He climbs and he fires. And as a first down, Chaz Anderson inside the 20 with Weston Steelhammer riding him down. Gain of 15 from Rippon.
Tremendous poise in the pocket. You're right. Great protection right there. They really only rushed 3. They put the zone behind it, and he found the open spot in the zone. Made the tough catch.
Run game hasn't been there. McNichols on the wheel route. Had to wait for it and brought it in anyway.
Got the matchup they wanted. That was an all-out blitz, pressure package, 0 coverage. They got the one-on-one match with the back coming out of the backfield. That was a tremendous throw. Rippon threw that ball way before the receiver was open. He threw him open.
First and goal from the 3 after a 14-yard hit. McNichols off the counter, feeling his way to the 2.5, and Air Force stacks him up.
Now you want the right play, but time is becoming an issue. You can't allow it to burn too much time between plays.
See the tempo, and Thomas Stewart has checked in to play quarterback. The sophomore in for Rippon. There's a quarterback run. Stewart keeps his feet and in.
We talked about, Coach Harsin talked a lot about the need for designed quarterback runs in the red zone, and Rippon was not necessarily the guy to do that. This is just a pure power run. You can see they got everybody there. They're all blocking. There's no fake involved, no pass look. It's just run the ball, and a great patience by Thomas Stewart.
Weaver set it up with the interception. 8 plays, 52 yards. Rippon triggered it. Stewart closed it. The sophomore makes it a 1-score game in Boise.
I love it, yeah, I love it when you get that beat. Boots on, stomp your feet. It's like you've been waiting on.
Some beautiful sights here in Boise, Idaho. Best seen at 300 miles an hour. The Ponderosa Pines Scenic Byway, driven by Greg Janik from our crew. Earlier today, very safely, we sped it up. It's a 7-point game. Air Force with the lead. Turnovers have hurt the Falcons. Thomas Stewart takes it in on the touchdown run. The redshirt sophomore for Boise. And there's high energy on the sideline again off the Weaver interception to lead to the touchdown. Williams touched it at the 1, never established, and takes the knee for a touchback. Well, Air Force, you said don't throw the ball. They have. Boise's capitalized.
Carson Roberts has done a lot of damage tonight to Boise, and I think unfortunately now to Air Force. A couple of ill-advised throws, and they're very good plays by the Boise defense, but they're thrown into double coverage on every occasion, and they're not finished. He didn't see the defense, should have thrown it away. I think discretion, the better part of valor. I would say, why throw it when you were up 14? I'll say it even more now when you're up 7.
Last 3 games entering this one, no Air Force turnovers. 4 tonight. 17 Boise points off of them. Early action. McVay off the pitch, which looked dicey, and Tyler Gray knocks him down.
What's the difference in the Boise defense? Are they fired up? Are they doing the assignments any differently? Maybe. Maybe they're half a step quicker right now because they know they have a chance to win this football game.
Outside shot at a Mountain Division championship. They have to have the win tonight.
We talked about the different formations that you see. Now, quarterback in the shotgun, 2 backs.
Sped up with 2 to snap it. Roberts, the pitch. And Weaver on the sideline gets shot. Nice run by Owens for the first down.
Good job of finishing the run. Broken some tackles. Great job. And this is a whole different thing. Like I said, totally different look here. You can see the read. There's the pitch. And actually, Roberts gets a block there on a key person to allow the running back to continue Owens down the field.
Got 10, first down. All 3 timeouts left for Boise State. Dive play. Owens spins for 6.5. Second down on the way, and Boise State, a team that's won a league title 10 of the last 14 seasons, wants to turn it back over to the young quarterback Rippon.
We've talked about it all night. You've got to stop the dive first. Whenever they line up in the double wing set, stop the dive first, force the issue, maintain your leverage, use the sideline as your 12th defender.
Dive play again. They don't stop it. Owens hops through for a first down. Cameron Miles, the safety, had to come up and finish the deal, and Jacoby Owens has been the key man after 2 touchdowns last week in the win against Utah State.
You need to decide, too, when do you start using your timeouts, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen right here. If they get some type of a stop on first down, they start using the timeouts.
On an average of 332 rush yards a game, Air Force over 300 tonight.
And watch that clock. He should snap it with under 5 seconds.
Did it with 5 that time. Pitch it for Owens, who's played both fullback and halfback tonight, and gets crushed out of bounds by Miles. Another first down, but the clock does stop as Owens is out of bounds.
But I believe only until the resetting of the chains, because it's not under 2 minutes.
So at the 3-minute mark, they will roll it. Gain of 15 for Owens.
You know, timeouts don't matter if you can't stop them on defense.
Owens again. He's got a couple. And we were talking to Marcel Yates, the defensive coordinator for Boise State. He said, look, 2nd down 7, 3rd and 4, that's where they like to live. And a couple yards that time. 2nd down, timeout, Boise State. Boy, back-to-back home games, back-to-back weeks. Haven't done it since 1993. And Brian Harsin over on that sideline has got to be wondering what's it going to take at this point to play a full game, especially with what's on the line tonight. I mean, he told us that this team needs to know what's available in this game. They still have a chance to win the division. At points, they've played like it tonight.
They have, and they've been their own worst enemy at times too. And they've played in spurts in this game, and you have to be consistent to win a championship. Brian Harsin is a great young coach, and he believes he has a great staff. He's got to get the players and the coaches all on the same page so they can execute the game plan.
19-5 as the head coach at Boise State, down to 2.5 on their Mountain West title hopes this season. 2nd and 7 for the senior Roberts. Keeps it himself. And Vallejo over there with Chancellor James. Timeout. 1 remaining for Boise State. 2:25 to play. Saturday Night Football presented by Walmart features the Big 12 elimination game. Number 18 TCU. Number 7 Oklahoma, 8 Eastern on ABC. Big 12 title still up for grabs. Oklahoma State in the lead. This game is huge. Saturday, 8 Eastern on ABC. TCU without Josh Dotson, the key wide receiver. Let's see what Trevon Boykin has in mind for Oklahoma. You don't think?
TCU's really beat up. Oklahoma's the hottest team in the nation. But the reality is TCU is actually playing decent football, but without a totally healthy Boykin and without Josh Dotson, I don't give them as good a chance. I think Oklahoma's on a roll right now, and they're smelling it.
3rd down and 4. Borderline field goal range for Air Force. Dive play for Roberts on the hand to Owens, and he's about a yard short. Final timeout for Boise State. Now a decision for Troy Calhoun. Do you go for it? Do you kick the field goal, a long field goal, to try and make it a 2-score game?
I believe with what they've been doing offensively, they should go for it. They can run. They're the best team. We've talked about the quarterback sneak or the quarterback power from under center, whatever you want to call it. They do it very, very well. And then the option is difficult to stop for less than a yard. So I would not be surprised at all if he wanted to kick the ball. A lot of things can happen with a kick. You miss it, it's blocked, or whatever the case may be. I would put more faith and trust in them running the ball on that 4th and 1 for the first down.
If he wanted to, Troy Calhoun, the former Air Force quarterback, could think it over. He's got 3 timeouts to use. He's going to send out Luke Strable, the sophomore kicker. Strable perfect tonight. It's from 45, would be his long of the year. It is up. Strable got it.
Great choice by the coach. After the fact, I give him total credit for that. Obviously a 2-score game now. See, Boise tried to time the jump. Great job. Certainly a lot of excitement and relief at that point.
That's the 2nd kicker on Air Force's roster. Drew Early, the regular kicker, is injured with a hamstring problem, so Strable is the guy they call on to put them, at least at this point, 1 win away next week at New Mexico from a Mountain Division championship at the very least. With a New Mexico loss tomorrow, Air Force would go into the Mountain West championship game.
Right, but don't go away, because if Boise manages to score, the reality is we'll see an onside kick, and those are always fun plays to watch. No way to predict where that ball is going to go.
And for those that didn't see, Boise State last week down 7 against New Mexico ran a gadget play in the waning moments and got down inside the 10-yard line before coming up short of a game-tying touchdown and possible extra point. With 2:11 to play, Terrell Johnson to the 35. Oh my, very close as Tyler Jackson got him by the shoelaces.
And that was a saving tackle. He was probably off to the races with a start and a blocker in front of him. Does a nice job of waiting for his block right there, sets it up, and then he's going to go away, I'll tell you what. Wow, that's a great job of timing, just tripping him up right there. That's the effort you need on special teams.
Brett Rippon, freshman quarterback, sideline, and incomplete. Lattipos done a nice job when he's been on Spurbeck tonight, who had 20 catches, Spurbeck that is, last week. By the way, Air Force, 37 points on a -4 in the turnover margin. FBS teams this year that are -4 turnovers are 3-51. Might be 4 and 1 and change. Rippon to Rowe, the tight end, and he's short of the line to gain timeouts. Exhausted for Boise State, which led on the opening play from scrimmage, an 83-yard touchdown run with Allison Williams, Mike Bellotti, Jason Benetti, our entire crew in Boise. Tip ball for Rippon, and the contact legal with the tip by Brody Hicks on the coverage. The tip from DJ Dunn. 4th down and 1. The game for Boise State, despite the Air Force turnovers, the interceptions mounted, but the Falcons have held the line defensively.
I would run this. You get a 1st down, it's going to stop the clock anyway.
Rippon has a completion. Rowe turns the corner and inside the 40. 90 seconds to go. Heartbeat continues for Boise State.
Rowe is the clutch player the coaches talked about. They needed him. They thought he could be a secret weapon for him tonight. They got to find him a few more times.
That one goes for 19. Rippon from the backside, hit and stripped. Ball loose.
There was no whistle. I don't know if that's...
Alex Hansen came on the pressure. That was a live ball.
A fumble. Yeah.
Clock continues. 1:10 to go. A lot of time coming off. 4-man rush over the middle. Ripping the completion and inside the 25-yard line for a 1st down. This one goes to Sean Monster, his 1st catch.
In that situation, you have to have your receivers be able to play both sides. You shouldn't have to wait for them to line up on the other side of the field.
And a whistle and a flag here. We are in the window for the 10-second runoff.
Boise State substituted on the play. We were attempting to stop the snap. We'll have a do-over.
The old do-over, Coach Bellotti.
Yeah, well, he never had do-overs in my time, if I remember, but that's okay. It's like the restart button, reset button.
Troy Calhoun says run the clock. They do. Off the placement of the ball. Rippon sideline, end zone. Spurbeck was impeded by Latipo, but not enough to draw a hanky.
Yeah, they're going to take some shots, and obviously, if they get a chance to get that ball in the end zone, they will do the onside kick. The first things first, find a way to score. A little bit of push there. The ball's in the air. That could have been called, in all honesty.
Could make the argument to take the field goal here as well. Set up the 1-score game, then go onside kick.
Yep.
Rippon is sacked again. Alex Hansen, the sack leader for Air Force.
Got to do something. Got to have a play here.
6th sack tonight of Rippon. 25 seconds to go. Rippon launches.
Got it.
Out of bounds. Chaz Anderson.
A little bit too far. He was open. Ball needed to be thrown about 2 steps earlier, but he was sliding in the pocket. And unfortunately, not one of the longest receivers that has the range. Couldn't quite corral it anyway, but he's trying to keep his foot down in bounds.
Could have made the argument to kick the field goal a couple of plays ago. They will bring out Rossa now with 17 seconds to go. 4th and 13. Trying to make it a 1-score game. It comes from 45. A timeout, Air Force. How would you have played that? You take the field goal earlier?
No, I would have waited, try to get the touchdown first, because obviously it just makes that more pressure down the road. But the reality, I think I would have called it just the same way. I would have not have let my receivers have to switch sides to run a play. I think the receivers need to be versatile enough that if they're whichever side they end up on, they can step in the slot and run whatever play is called.
Win tonight for Air Force and a loss for New Mexico tomorrow against Colorado State. Air Force would clinch the Mountain Division Championship and be at least more than halfway to a first league title since 1998 for the United States Air Force Academy.
What I liked was Coach Calhoun trying to ice the kicker. I think that's really smart use of your timeouts.
Rossa from 45, fading, and snuck it through. 11 seconds to go, 7-point game. We need a touchdown if you're a lip reader.
Yeah. We need to recover the onside kick first, I think. If we can take that, if it touches an Air Force player and we can run in for a touchdown, that would be good too.
All positive alternatives for Brian Harsin.
Yeah, and the reality is that, you know, Calhoun may have another timeout in his pocket. He may say once he sees the formation, he may call a timeout to say, guys, here's where the kick could go, so let's make sure we're ready for that. The guys up front block, make sure the guys who want to catch the ball we have in charge of corralling the football.
Brian Harsin, the former Boise State quarterback. He was here for 5 years as a player, 17 years total.
This is not a legal formation. Somebody's going to motion back across at one point. You can only be 6 and 4 unless they've changed the rules.
Rossa has it teed up. There's the movement. Live ball out of bounds.
Had a chance right there because really nobody touched it. If a Boise player could have, it gone 10 yards.
Free kick out of bounds. 5-yard penalty be enforced from where the ball went out of bounds. Air Force's ball at that spot, first down.
Well, big plays in the passing game tonight for Air Force. Told you they're the 3rd best rushing team in the country. They did it with explosive plays pass-wise. 279 through the air for the Air Force Falcons.
Over 600 yards of offense. Very, very balanced. And they did some damage with the passing game to both themselves and to their opponents, unfortunately. Allowed Boise to get back in the game at the end with some interceptions.
Back-to-back years, Air Force has beaten Boise State. First back-to-back losses in consecutive weeks at home in 22 years for the Broncos.
Very difficult for Brian Harsin and the Boise State Broncos.
Air Force wins it 37-30 in Mountain West play. That's our final score from Boise. NBA tonight is next.